Ladies and gentlemen, hello Milwaukee! If you are within the sound of my voice, the BMO stage is where you want to be. We are kicking off the original Extreme Sports in just a few minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Roger Phelps. I'm the Corporate Communications Manager for STIHL Incorporated. And on behalf of all the men and women of STIHL, I would like to welcome you to this, the 39th World Championship, or U.S. Championship of the STIHL Timbersports Series, right here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. You know, it has been my pleasure to work for STIHL for the last 23 years, and I've been so impressed by so much with the company. But a lot of people don't know our history. In 1926, a young German engineer went into the Black Forest of Germany, and he saw the foresters there using hand saws and axes, and he thought to himself, there has to be a better way. So he went out and invented the world's first electric chainsaw. That young German engineer was Andreas Stihl, our founder. Now, a lot of things have changed. A lot of things have changed over the years. New technologies, new innovations, new products. But what has not changed is that we are still family owned. Third generation, Dr. Nicholas Stihl, the family is still in charge. And we are still relentlessly dedicated to finding a better way. It's why we only retail through our local dealers, because we know that local dealers are connected to their communities. It's why in 1974, the STIHL Corporation started a manufacturing facility in Virginia Beach, Virginia, where since 1974, we have been proudly building steel equipment in America, for America, because we believe in America. And we are always looking for speed, power, and precision. And that's why in 1985, we invented the STIHL Timbersports Series as a way of determining who the world's best lumberjack sports athlete is. And that is what you are in for today. Because today, we are proud to share with you the top 12 U.S. STIHL Timbersports athletes who are competing on this stage, not only for the U.S. Championship, but for the right to represent the United States in France in November at the World Championship. So what do you say, Milwaukee? Are you ready? No. Are you ready? Then let's start it!
Lumberjacks in the country have landed here. German Fest, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Holy cow, you just don't see that happen!
24 athletes arrived with sights set on the title. Now only 12 remain to battle for the top prize.
That clock is off already!
One man will take the STIHL Timbersports United States title and go on to represent the U.S. at the World Championship in France. Who will be the baddest man in the land?
This is what we call hardcore blue-collar toughness.
Hey everybody, welcome to Milwaukee. Our live coverage begins right now at the 2024 STIHL Timbersports U.S. Men's Championship. Yesterday, 24 hopefuls arrived on this stage here, fought their way through 3 qualifying pools, and now we have our 12 who will shoot for the championship today. To lead us through it, let's bring out a man, a true legend in lumberjack sports. He has got a stack of trophies, medals, and records to his name. He's one of the greatest voices the sport has ever had as well. Let's hear it for the one and only Super Dave Jewett.
Here we go.
I'm hanging out with the competitors out back. Some of them are nervous. Some of them are bouncing around. Some of them are joking and punching me. I love it here in Milwaukee. Crazy atmosphere, crazy crowd, hostile crowd yesterday with the disqualification. We'll see if that happens again today. Super Dave Jewett, psyched to be back here in Milwaukee. I hope we don't go anywhere. 42nd annual Milwaukee German Fest, one of the biggest in the world. So much has happened. Let's rewind real quick. Friday, the Women's National Championship. Erin Lavoie stealing the title back from the East Coast. Chadds Ford, Pennsylvania. Martha King taking it back to the West Coast. Spokane, Washington. Big round of applause for Erin Lavoie breaking the world record in the underhand chop. I feel like Roger did half my job for me talking about what you're about to see. 12 athletes out there. They've earned their positions here. There's 6 events you're about to see. 3 chopping, 3 sawing. 3 of the athletes out there broke the world records on this stage. Dave Jewett, Super Dave Jewett, I earned the name. Competing in timber sports for over 25 years. I'm going to be calling it for the boys upstairs, but I'm going to have a little help from my good friend, Dave Johns. Dave.
Super David, it's great to be back on the stage here today. Who's ready to crown a new national champion? Dude, I am so excited. The athletes out back, they're nervous right now. They're nervous. The first event, the biggest event, the underhand, right to set the stage for them. Who's going to take it here in this first one?
I don't know. I did a little tease to social media. I gotta give it to Jason Lentz based on just consistency, his rock-solid face going into the hot sauce, single bucking ability. But we can't leave out these 2 guys up top. They're going to be calling it high in the sky. Crosscut world record holder Kevin Holtz and the golden voice of Tommy Sanders.
Hey, thank you so much, Super David. And Kevin Holtz, you know, I think you'll agree, I think we'd all agree, this field is stacked with accomplished athletes at the top of their game right now, top to bottom. But of course, in fact, we've already started. Of course, we're going to speculate on who is going to move the needle the most. Give us your ones to watch.
Yeah, well, my ones to watch is a long list because we've got one of the deepest pools of talent that we've ever had here at the National Championships. Of course, we'd be remiss. We've got to start with our 7-time U.S. champion, Matt Koger. He has been focused. He is absolutely queued up this year. He was not our 2023 champion, though, and that says a lot. I feel like that puts some extra pressure for him to move back to the top of the podium here in 2024. Our 2023 champion, though, I'm on board with Dave Jewett, though. I am watching Jason Lentz this year. I feel like he is fit. He is mentally sharp. He is just cued in. I loved what I saw from him in the qualifying rounds yesterday, and I just feel like he is focused and ready to go. But we have a pile of competitors that have been on the podium and past champions that are really just all right there. Number 1 on my list in terms of other guys ready to take the top seat is that guy right there, Maddie Slingerland. He has been so close so many times, it drives me absolutely insane. He does not have that gold medal around his neck yet. Watch for Maddie Slingerland. He's looked exceptional here in qualification. Of course, we'd be remiss. We got to mention Cassidy Shear, one of the most cerebral cutters out here. He is always looking for the edge, looking for the angle, looking to disrupt, modify, do whatever he can to get back on top of that podium. He's got 1 U.S. championship under his belt, and you know he'd love to have a stack, much like Matt Koger. And one guy who has just absolutely disrupted this industry is Nate Hodges. Nate came into this industry as a rookie. Roll back tape from like 4 or 5 years ago, and you'll hear me just losing my mind. He was a rookie. He was a nobody. He was a nothing. And he has thrown everything he has into this sport, and it has paid dividends. Some of his techniques are maybe a little rough around the edges. Maybe the textbooks wouldn't show quite how he goes about it, but he has the absolute will to just barrel through and get this job done. It's a deep field, Tommy. There are lots of options out there.
Absolutely. Thank you. The ones to watch right there. Pick out your favorites and get ready to take in all this action. It's going to go by very, very quickly today. So, without further ado, let's send it back down to Dave Jewett and introduce us to the athletes.
Thanks very much, Tommy. Let's bring them out. Our number one athlete from Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, hot saw world record holder. I like to call him the Rocket Man. That's Adam. Let's go.
Coming to you from Polkton, North Carolina. Looks like he's chiseled from stone. Let's hear it for Logan Scarborough.
From Morgantown, West Virginia, Josh Wilson.
Your local boy and fan favorite. Let's give a big yo-ho from Hayward, Wisconsin, Cassidy Shear.
Coming all the way from Matthews, North Carolina, give it up for Ben Nicely.
Dark Horse Canada of the day from Sheboygan, Michigan. Let's hear it for Dakota Robarge.
On this stage, he broke the Springboard world record in 37 seconds from North Fork, California, Nate Hodges.
But your current world record holder, breaking it at just over 35 seconds from Toll House, California. Let's hear it for Walt Page.
The fastest springboarder on the stage in the semifinals from Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, Maddie Slingerland.
In his first national championship from Walpole, New Hampshire, let's hear it for Trevor Beaudry.
The holder of the standing block world record and your 7-time national champion from Grafton, West Virginia. Give it up for Matthew Koger.
Hello, I'm looking for a chainsaw.
Well, you came to the right place. This is our chainsaw display. This one here is the good starter.
I'm looking for something a little bigger.
Well, what are you cutting?
Logs.
Okay, go time for 3, 2, 1. Keep 10 photos off this time of the roll. There was ready.
I want that one.
This one here we recommend only for trained professionals.
That'll do.
Thank you so much for stopping in. You have a great weekend. Is there anything else we can help you with?
Where's the BMO Pavilion?
It's downtown Milwaukee.
Thank you. Hey, do you know where the BMO Pavilion is? Do you know where the BMO Pavilion is?
I'm not from around here, buddy. I don't know.
Hey, can you help me find the BMO Pavilion? I'm not real sure where I'm at right now. Hey, excuse me. Do you know where the BMO Pavilion is?
Yeah, it's that way.
I see the BMO Pavilion. got to be a better way. Here's my gator. That'll do. Oh yeah, that'll do. I made it. Let's win this thing.
And from Diana, West Virginia, your two-time national champion. Let's give it up for Jason Lentz.
And at this point, let's bring out our head judges, Chris Alba, Jonathan Russell, and Rich Hallett. And at this point, ladies and gentlemen, please rise if you are able. Remove your hats for the playing of our national anthem.
Individual competition. In the first round, all athletes compete in 3 disciplines: the underhand chop, the stock saw, and the standing block chop. The times achieved will be converted into points upon completion of each discipline. In round 1, a difference of 1 point applies in each discipline. Thus, the fastest athlete receives 12 points and the slowest only 1 point. Any rule infraction will result in a disqualification, and the athlete will receive 0 points for that discipline. At the end of the first round, the athletes with the lowest scores are eliminated. Only 8 athletes make it to the second round. In this second round, the remaining athletes compete in the single buck and the springboard for increased scores. With 2 points difference between placings, the fastest athlete now receives 16 points and the slowest receives 2. The 2 athletes with the lowest total points are eliminated at the end of round 2. Only the top 6 reach the third round. In the third round, anything is still possible in the hot saw, as an increased score interval of 3 points applies in this final round. The fastest athlete can score up to 18 points at the hot saw, the slowest only 3 points. The athlete who manages to achieve the highest total score across all 3 rounds is the new champion.
First heat of the underhand chop. Give it up for Adam Lethko and Logan Scarborough.
Right on stand 1, it's going to be from Tennessee. Adam Lefko going up against North Carolina's Logan Scarborough. Adam Lefko in his third World Championship final. The second one for Logan Scarborough. It's been away from the sport for a while. Back in it now and seems to be pretty well coming into form, Kevin.
Yeah, if you can advance to the U.S. Championships in your sort of return to the stage, that's not a bad go-round. Logan Scarborough is a club-handed chopper. You're going to see his hands together.
Athletes ready.
Very
Stand
Mike Sullivan
to your
sort of
timber.
style swing. We've seen some other athletes run
2,
that.
1, go!
Lefko, pound for pound, though, puts in one of the most impressive hits. I'd rather see him in the springboard, the standing block, but still a great underhand cutter. Logan Scarborough is going to just reach across the rafters of the BMO Pavilion and just blaze that block. Scarborough around well in advance. I was going to say he's getting about 2 more hits. Look at that time, though. 24-second run from Logan Scarborough. A nice opener to round 1.
Both cuts are good.
We got Logan coming up. Logan, you and Adam having a couple words there. What are you guys talking about? Revisiting what just happened in that block?
Yeah, both of our blocks were a little bit different. Different color wood. Mine was a little bit redder. It was a little bit lighter color. Both did great. Real good wood.
For the fans that were not here yesterday, we talked about your clubbing technique, meaning you hold that axe right at the end of the handle. You're so strong, you don't need to slide that top hand up to recoil that. Is that just a Logan Scarborough specific technique you decided to use?
I don't recommend it, I'll tell you that. But I started it years ago when I was a little bit stronger. So I'm moving my hand a little bit nowadays to get it back up, but not much.
Congratulations back in the finals. Last time we saw you was 2015. Gotta love being here in Milwaukee, buddy.
Absolutely. Glad to be here.
Thanks, Logan Scarborough. The time to beat low 24s.
Well, here's a look at that technique from Logan Scarborough as he goes to work on stand number 2 over there. The hands just stay right. Well, actually, I'll call him on that, though. I think he's sliding his hand more than he thinks he does. When that axe sticks, it takes a little extra effort to wrench it out of the block, and I saw him slide his hands a little bit. So maybe this is a technique he's willing to re-examine. Gets that turn, a bit of a grain running out of that block. You see his opening blows draw kind of a funny chip. There's a bit of a hang-up again. We mentioned this is sort of a return to the sport for Logan Scarborough. We first met Logan in the collegiate series. He advanced to the professional ranks, kind of pulled back a little bit for work and family, and now is trying to strike that happy balance where he can do both.
Well, Logan Scarborough, big-time college start 10 years ago at North Carolina State, NC State, now back in the pro level again since 2015 for the first time in the championships. Opens up, as Kevin said, with a great time, 24-11. Good to start. Adam Lefko, a time of 32.78 officially.
Second heat of the underhand chop, Josh Wilson and your local boy from Hayward, Wisconsin, Cassidy Shear.
Cassidy Shear, the 2019 champion. U.S. Championship here, right here in Milwaukee. Going up against Josh Wilson. Josh Wilson, he's been at the top level, the elite level, you might say, for a good many years now. Both of them have done very well in national championships.
Watch the speed and the power of Wilson.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1. Go!
Wow, Shear right on the go, right out of the gate. I think we're going to have a really good race between these two athletes. Both pretty equally matched. All right. Oh, trouble for Wilson on stand number 1, though, as he steps off the block. That just absolutely forces you to reset, get settled. Shear is not waiting around for Wilson to catch up. One to the guts, one to the bottom. There it is. One more to the bottom. finds those last fibers. You know, Tommy, I was talking to Josh Wilson at the start of the day when they're setting up blocks, and I said, man, don't you want to clean up those footholds a little bit? And he goes, no, it doesn't bother me. They weren't quite level. They kind of winged up at the edge. I said, geez, that would drive me nuts. Logan Scarborough was standing nearby, and he goes, yeah, that'd drive me nuts too.
Both cuts are good.
Cassidy, great cut, low 20s, underhand chop. You started cutting underhands as a young kid, and you never looked back, even though you cut yourself as a young kid. I was around, saw that happen. Does that rattle you, or you just plow forward? Because when you entered the STIHL Timbersports Series, everyone thought of you as a speed climber, and you made a point. You are a chopper as well, buddy.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to rattle me. The only thing that does that is the stock saw for some reason, the benign stock saw. But yeah, that's decent chop. I think I got a harder log. We'll see if that holds up. I cut it to the best of my ability, and I had fun, and I'm just happy to be here, Dave.
Great to have you back. A big fan base for Cassidy Shear. We love it.
Here's a look at that last heat. There is Josh Wilson on the near side, and you can see he steps on the center of the block and then steps on the edge with his right foot. And you know what? I'll fight Josh Wilson on this one. Not physically, of course, because he can stand like a breadstick.
No.
But those footholds need to be level. If you're on your heels on one side and on your toes on the other, it's going to do what that just did, and it's pitching you off the block. Cassidy Shear, though, calm, cool, collected. A very Dave Jewett-esque turn. Very clean on that turn. Nice pattern. Spreading the hits out. Draws out nice big chips. And predictably goes 3 drivers down that back face. Nice clean cut for Cassidy Shear.
Cassidy Shear's official time, 20.45. Josh Wilson, 24.80. So, a lot of crowd support here for the son of the state of Wisconsin as he moves into the top spot in the underhand.
All right. Third heat, underhand chop. Let's bring him out. Your 2-time champion, Jason Lentz on position 1. Ben Nicely on position 2.
Oh, he is the defending champ, and he is on the top of everyone's mind. Everyone who's speculating about who might take it all today here in 2024. Jason Lentz on stand number 1. Ben Nicely on stand number 2. Ben Nicely of North Carolina has had a good experience throughout his career. He has been here plenty of times and has qualified, I think, now for his 4th time in the U.S. Championship final.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Well, this is our first look at our 2-time and current reigning U.S. champion. See how he disassembles this underhand chop. A little bit of a slow turn. He kind of gets his equilibrium set, but doesn't really just spin and turn back into the backside of this log. Ben Nicely's got a great chop going. He's not going to be able to catch Jason Lentz. There it is, a 20. Oh, he came pretty darn close, though. Jason Lentz showing a 22 as his unofficial time. There's some fractions there, though, to save for Jason Lentz. I'm not sure. He seemed like he spun quick, but then had to sort of pause and pump the brakes a little bit on that as he went to open up the second side of this log.
Both cuts are good.
So let's get Jason real quick. We'll do it super quick, buddy. You know, we were just talking about I was watching you test axes this morning. You got boxes of axes. You got your buddy Lawrence O'Toole from Australia helping out. Mike Ash. Everyone's looking on saying, Jason, which axe will you choose? And you said, I don't know. They're all good. Are you going to repeat that axe for the standing block? What did you feel? I thought it stuck a little bit. What were you feeling?
Yeah, the sapwood's sticky, Dave, so my standing block isn't as bad, but yeah, I'll probably bring this one out again.
It's all about keeping that flow going, buddy. Great job. We'll see you wind it up in the standing. Jason Lentz, great sport, great interview. All business.
Let's go back and have another look at it. We didn't get to see that stick so much from our side, our vantage point out here in the audience, but you can see as he gets well to the middle of that log, he's already driven to the middle, turns, and then he just kind of gets back on his heels. Then he goes into that pattern, opens 2 and 2, starts chasing those corners, and goes about its work. I agree with Dave, though. I don't know if that axe really liked that block, didn't open it well. He did talk about the sapwood on the outside, that it does play a little bit different compared to when you get into the heartwood in the middle of these white pine logs. So if he has a little bit different look in his standing block, bring the axe back out, try it there as well.
Official time for Jason Lentz at 22.11. Bit nicely getting close to him there, but couldn't quite catch him. 23.15 still the time to beat Cassidy Shear. 20.45.
All right. This is going fast. 4th heat already. The new guy from Sheboygan, Michigan, Dakota Robarge, and his opponent, Nate Hodges.
Well, if you've been following this series for years, it's the first time you will see Dakota Robarge in this final here. He's been competing for a while, but hasn't really made it all the way to the final day before. But he had a great job in his pool yesterday, so he is going to be trying hard to keep that momentum going through the day. Going up against Nate Hodges. That's going to be a hard man to beat anytime it's axe in hand.
Yeah, we talked about Logan Scarborough being a club-handed chopper. Nate Hodges is the same and even chokes up on the axe even more.
Athletes
Little
ready.
short handle. Just
Stand
tons
to
of power,
your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
You can see how short that handle is for him, how close his hands are to the head of the axe, but he is just pistoning that axe head into that block. Just absolute horsepower, sends it right to the maker's mark. Robarge has got a good cut going. You see that axe hang a little bit. He is putting a better technical cut in, but just can't match the horsepower of Nate Hodges. 1876 showing on the unofficial time, and it just shadows over that run by Robarge, who still is posting a 22-second time, which is up there with the top athletes.
Both cuts are good.
See Hodges right here. We got him coming over. Another clubber. You can see he's got some tape here. Actually keeps his hand high up the handle. Let's move over here. Get some sponsor loving, buddy. Flying. What I paid attention to was your last 3 hits. Top, middle, bottom. And when somebody's yelling at you, they'll say, break it off. Top, middle, bottom. You did that 1, 2, 3. And it came off. The plan came together, buddy. How'd you feel?
Yeah, Dave, we got to move fast, but at the same time, we got to do things proper. And, there's a lot of things happening in a short amount of time right there. And that was my plan. I knew the wood was good enough. I was like, she's ready to drive. So, yeah, you break the top, you hit the middle. That's your Matt Koger, and then you 1-2 the thing and it falls off. But I wanted to be safe about it. 1, 2, 3 down, and she came right off.
Great job, Nate. Catch your breath, buddy. 18.49. New leader.
Nate Hodges set the time to beat, and this guy does things that I would never even do myself. I can't put myself in his shoes. The strength of Nate Hodges. The front side of this block has a tiny little face, totally beat out. Just a really small target when you get to the backside to drive through into fresh air. But he just drives it. He breaks wood, stuff that just any other competitor out there, or nearly any other competitor, would be struggling to drive through, and he just snaps timber.
Nate Hodges spent a lot of time on the pedestal throughout his last 8 years here. Will this be his year to break through and get the gold? Look at that time. Great start. 18.49 takes over the lead. And Dakota Robarge, yes, keeping that momentum going from yesterday. 21.96. He's in third.
Next heat, 5th heat, underhand chop. Walt Page and Matt Slingerland.
Matt Matt Slingerland, another athlete who spent a lot of time on the podium in this event through the years here, but never yet, like Nate Hodges, he has not achieved the top spot. So will he break through this time? He's looking forward to that. He's had to fight his way back from a little bit of a slow start in the pools yesterday. Going up against Walt Page, well known as a great chopper. He's been around for a while. With the definition of accomplished veteran here. He has not reached the podium here, though, interestingly enough.
Ready. Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Yeah, Matty Slingerland, we saw him struggle with a couple disciplines in qualifying, as you mentioned, in the semifinal round. Let's just hope that he got all that behind him and it's clear and focused. He is around. Boy, that axe is just floating in and out of that block. No hangs, no sticks. He's a little bit pinched right now. Went to the middle. Oh, I think that was more driving than he wanted to do, but a 19.85 is an awesome time. There is time to gain in that block.
Both cuts are good.
Talk to Matt Koger here about his chop. Matt, you know, I know you've seen a lot of the guys sticking on their second hit. I think some of it is they turned too early to do their chip hit. It looked like you held a fair amount of blade out the top, bringing the bust in and blowing that top chip in. It was beautiful. I didn't see any sticking. Is that something you work on? It's really more than the axe. It comes down to the operator, doesn't it?
Yeah, you don't want to rush the first 4 hits, Dave. Get those in good. It sets you up for a good chop. We got a good lube strategy as well on the axe, so it's been working. Just try to keep the pace, hit it hard.
Great job. Unofficially, you're in second place. We're waiting for your official time. Big round of applause for Matt Slingerland.
On the front side of Matty Slingerland's block, he had just a little wing of wood, a little bit of uncut wood. It's one of the toughest things in the world is to reach way down. And you see there, that last hit that he did, that driving hit, you can see his wrist extend a little more, and he whips the nose of that axe around, going after that last wing of wood. Now he's got a lot of wood on the bottom on this front side, and he had to go back one more time. There it is for that extra hit at the bottom. Now you got to keep in mind, Tommy, that's a second and change that cost him. Yeah. And that may have been the difference between finishing second to Nate Hodges and maybe getting the best of Nate Hodges.
Well, second it is. There's his official time, a 19.60. And Walt Page, good time as well. Just edges out Dakota Robart for that 4th place spot there with a 21.72.
Final heat of the underhand chop. Trevor Beaudry versus our 7-time champion from Grafton, West Virginia, Matthew Koger.
Trevor Beaudry from New Hampshire, the school teacher, his first appearance here in the men's national championship, going up against 7-time winner of that national championship, Matt Koger.
Well, for Trevor Beaudry, this is the result of some work, some studying. He's been working with some really top-notch athletes.
Athletes ready.
Putting in the time, putting in the learning, being coached.
3, 2, 1, go!
All that said, though, Tommy, as you pointed out, he's up against our 7-time U.S. national champion, who's around to the backside, draws a huge slab of wood. Those first 4 hits do a tremendous amount of damage. He's already dropping. Oh, wow. My gosh. 14-11 showing on that unofficial time. Unbelievable. I mentioned this at the start of the show, Tommy. I said, he wasn't our champion last year. I wonder if this is going to put a little extra fire in his belly.
Oh.
That we may have just seen the first flickers of flame in this underhand chop.
I think it's yes.
Both cuts are good.
buddy. It's right there. 13.79. Let's rewind. A couple of weeks ago, our North American sports director, Nathan Waterfield, held a preseason timber sports tournament. You were there with all the best in the country. I got the results right here, buddy, because I want to remind you, you weren't firing on that day. You were 20 seconds. I want to know what your thoughts were about that tournament. These are the results right here, Matt. Those are the results. A man who lets the axe do the talking for him. That's just how sharp those axes are. He said, I don't want to hear what happened 2 weeks ago. This is what happened today. 13.79. I love the pace, buddy. I love the smile on your face. Enjoying the stage today. Great job.
Thanks, man. It's great to be up on the stage and be able to perform and do what I do here best and do it in front of you all. It's so fantastic.
Congratulations, Stock Saw. Get that heart rate down, buddy. Stock Saw coming up next.
Oh, Matt Coger showing up hungry here in Milwaukee. And I'll tell you what, obviously the swing speed was there. The accuracy was there. The bottom of the front of this log on the first face, he just had it hogged out that much more. Got into the backside. The axe was loving this timber. Look at the accuracy as each hit chases the next in. Having that work done on the front face sets you up beautifully to drive through on the back face. You're not chasing like mystery fibers past the midway point of this log.
Yeah, Matt Coger says, anytime's a good time to just run away from the rest of the field and post an outrageous time. Look at that. Wow, look, that's the final time. That's the official time, 13.79. He has got the top spot in the underhand chop, and Trevor Beaudry in fifth place. His official time, 20.53. Let's take a look at our points. Overall points is the main thing here. That's what everything is based on. Of course, that is a direct mirror of what we have seen, the scores and the positions in our first event here. Of course, that will change as we get on into it. And there it is. Matt Coger on top. Doesn't get to run away in points. 12's the max. And right behind him, 1 point back, is Nate Hodges. Got to be at the top 8 in total points after the first 3 disciplines. We'll talk more about that a little bit later. But right now, let's take it back down to the stage to Dave and Dave.
All right, German Fest. We got some flags we're going to be handing out here. We got to hear some noise, though. Come on, let's hear it. All right, come on. I know it's a little early. We were up late last night, but let's hear it. Let's hear it. Oh, I see steins empty out here. That's the problem. We got to fill those things up. We got to feel it. Championship Sunday here for STIHL Timbersports. We're getting these flags handed out. Oh, yeah, buddy. You definitely need one. That's a young Matt Coger in the making right there. I'm telling you. You guys got to be waving them. I'll be waving them. All right, let's hear it for Matt Coger in that underhand again. Just over 13 seconds. You kidding me? Let's go! Let's go! Let's keep hearing it. Let's see those flags. Where'd those flags go? Where'd those flags go? USA. I heard it up front. USA. That's right. USA. USA! 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 USA!
First heat of the stock saw, Adam Lethko versus Matty Schlingerlin.
On the left is Adam Lethko. Adam had a terrible time of it in our first discipline, the underhand chop, looking to claw back some points here in the stock saw, or saw him back, I guess you could say. Matt Slingerland, good job. Good outing in the first discipline in the underhand. He stands in third place in points.
Well, Tommy, I hope they've got the high-speed cameras ready and are shooting at a very high frame rate, because if these guys both bring their game today, this is going to be a very close race.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Slingerland struggled mightily in the stock saw, which is just uncharacteristic for him. Stuffing the chain break yesterday. He is back in action today. These guys are neck and neck. Lethko, a little advantage coming up through the top, and Lethko's going to come out with a win in this heat. An 11:56 shown as the unofficial time. This is where Lethko plays the disruptor a bit, stealing away some hard-earned STIHL Timbersports overall points. Judges are taking a look at the work of Lethko and Slingerland, making sure that they've got their cuts in place.
Both cuts are good.
Let's get a word with Adam Lethko. Adam, we missed him in the finals last year. He got knocked out in the semifinal round. Adam Lethko trying to leave the stage, but Dave Johns is going to stop him. Thank you, Dave. Get your tail back here, buddy. You know, we're talking about in November heading over to France, sending a U.S. team over. Why not see Adam Lethko over there? Are you ready, buddy? I mean, you're not just a hot sawyer, you're a stock sawyer.
Yeah, I look at the team as being really a bigger part of the team, where it's not just stock saw and you being able to fill in a lot of the other events. And unfortunately, hot saw and springboard, my strong events, aren't part of that relay. Otherwise, I'd be like, hey, take me, take me. But, you know, it doesn't really work that way.
You know, you cut the underhand chop, the heartbeat is a thumping. How do you bring it all down for this stock saw, buddy?
I don't know. I'm just truly blessed to be here today. If you all saw my performance yesterday, I got real lucky to move on. So just taking it stride by stride, just blessed to be here.
Talk about your job. Give you 10 more seconds. It takes you 40,000 miles in the truck drive and all year. Talk about what you do. A lot of the people out here, they just don't know us athletes.
Yeah, I work for a mitigation banking company, and we restore and create wetlands and streams. So we'll rebuild streams, just trying to bring things back to the natural way God intended it to be.
I love it, Adam. Big round of applause for Adam Lethko at 11:33.
Here's that run on stand number one from Adam Lethko, an exceptional technician. Look at how thin this first disc is. It is fitting between the guide bar and the bar oil tank on that saw, so you can reference that at home if you have a 661. Second disc gets a little bit thicker, but still plenty of room to get those two cuts in.
Well, Adam Lethko, the Tennessee Vol, after a rocky start, counter-punching now, putting up a good time, throwing up a 11.33 officially to take the top spot. And Slingerland's official time, not too far behind, 11.68.
Second heat of the stock saw, Trevor Beaudry and Josh Wilson.
Here we go, New Hampshire's Trevor Beaudry. In our second discipline, the stock saw. Stand number one, going up against Josh Wilson. Josh Wilson didn't get the start he wanted in the underhand as well. Had a little bit of footwork problems there. He too, like Adam Lethko, will be looking to get a few back this go-round.
Yeah, Josh Wilson completely stepping off the block. Just looked off balance. A little out of control after that turn. I would have anticipated the underhand would be one of the times he could pick up some points. And now he's trying to work out of the deficit from the underhand. So, ancient history at this point, he's just got to focus on this stock saw. This is such a cerebral event. these guys study every stage of this discipline.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Both these guys very quick to the wood. Little presentation difference between the two of them. Advantage Beaudry at the switch. Wow. Josh Wilson did an awesome job reeling Beaudry back in. Beaudry stopped and do a push-up real quick. I think he was just checking that line.
Both cuts are good.
Well, just a slight mishap. You're going to watch the exchange for Trevor Beaudry. Trevor, watch the exchange here. It's looked like you fed it in a little wobbly, and then you had to regain your angle there. Talk about that. Did you feel that on the exchange?
Oh yeah, for sure. I don't know what happened. I usually come down, and the back handle goes against my leg, comes right before it hits the bottom, right out, right back in. On that cut, I missed my leg, and it was just floating in the air, and I'm like, well, I gotta go. And I could tell it was right there on the line, but you can't reshoot it, because if you cut the line, you already cut the line, so you might as well just keep cutting and hope for the best. That's why you saw me hit the deck when I got done, and thankfully the line was there. I touched it, but it was still there.
A little trick you may have picked up from Matty Slingel. Right before you go, you lick your lip, put your little saliva mark on the top handle. Totally legal. What are you aiming at?
Well, the idea is to pick the saw up level, and to do that, you want to hit the center. So I do that same thing. I put that little mark there, and that gives me something to focus on. That's what I'm looking at, and my hand's going down, and I'm trying to hit dead center in the middle and pick it up from there. That's all I'm looking at, because I want to be quick. So to be quick, you got to be accurate. So I was nice and clean in the first cut, and then I screwed the second one up.
Well, we just need you to be quick in the standing block to have you move on. Great interview, Trevor Beaudry.
Here is that run from Beaudry. He nailed his mark. He's got a little blue mark on the top of that log for his first cut, and he nailed it. Second cut, though, gets way over to the outside. It is a thick disc. He does get it straight, gets it come up through there, and quickly drops down to have a peek. As he mentioned, you see the big smile there from Trevor Beaudry. As he mentioned in the interview, he goes, you know what, I grazed it. I was right up against it. That's fine. You can shave it, you can nick it, you can whatever, but you cannot sever. There must be some portion of that line still remaining.
So the push-up was unnecessary there. Trevor Beaudry, pretty good time. 11.80 is the official time for Beaudry. For Josh Wilson, 12.26.
Third heat of the stock saw, Ben Nicely and Walt Page.
All right, couple of good athletes going at it here. Ben Nicely of North Carolina, from up in the Sierras in California. Walt Page. Got a few more years of experience on Ben, but Ben has really proven he is polished and ready to go every time we come together for competition here in the STIHL Timbersports Series.
Well, Tommy, we've seen a lot of these guys come up out of the college ranks when we were running our STIHL Collegiate Series, and the guys that have succeeded has been the calm, cool, collected. Not the biggest, not the strongest. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're strong guys, but it's been the ones with the gray matter between the ears to stay focused and stay calm.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
In fact, the first thing we ever really got our attention with Walt Page was the stock saw. Ben Nicely, though, is an equal technician. He is ahead at the transition from 1 to 2. Ben Nicely, I think that time is way high for Ben Nicely. I think he's down to about 11.3. He is going to be in the top 2 or 3 when we get our official times, I bet.
Both cuts are good.
Talk about Ben Nicely. Ben, I don't want to jinx you, buddy. You haven't made a mistake. Keep it going. I said yesterday, I'm rooting for you. You just are consistent. And it looks in your mind like, I don't need to win it. I just need to go to my ability. Trying to go beyond it is trouble. You're being Ben Nicely. Keep it going. How'd it feel?
It felt great. You're right. I mean, all I can do is my best, and that's what I'm trying to do.
Awesome. Talk about that cut. It looked flawless to me. Thin to win, and great exchange. Great throttle response, fast to the wood.
Yeah, after that underhand, I knew I needed to make a good cut, and that's, clear your head, go up there and run the saw like you can.
You got a massive swing in the standing block. That's coming up next. Keep an eye out for this guy. Watch how big he swings the axe. Ben Nicely, congratulations. Great stock star run. Keep riding that wave, buddy.
There's Ben Nicely up to the block. A very nice, straight, thin cut. It puts less side pressure on the chain when it's a nice, thin, sort of flimsy disc. But you also run the risk you're going to break that thin disc. Look at all the real estate he had left. He had plenty of room for a third or I don't know, you can maybe sneak a fourth one in if those first two were a little bit thinner. Great run from Ben Nicely. Anytime you knocked out Walt Page in a stock saw event, you're doing something well. Look at that. Ben Nicely sitting second place right now.
Yeah, 11.47, his official time right there. And Walt Page, not a bad cut, but he's down in 5th place with a 12 seconds even time.
All right, let's bring them out. Logan Scarborough and Dakota Robarge.
Going to be Logan Scarborough on the left there, going up against Dakota Robarge. Dakota in his first national championship final here. Had a good time working his way, fighting his way through the pools, and had a good start to the day. Top 4 in the underhand chop. Logan Scarborough back after almost a decade's absence from this event.
Warm up your saws. Athletes ready.
Stands to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
What a weekend for Dakota Robarge as he steps to the stage. His first time on the STIHL Timbersport stage, straight to the championship. These guys are neck and neck at the switch. I'm a little concerned. Robarge shoveling his feet there a little bit at the bottom of his first cut. Can change your pressure, changes your approach angle. Logan Scarborough, though, just absolutely motored through that upcut. The nerve-wracking part here, a little bit of studying from the judges, making sure the line is there, making sure they got 2 complete discs. Nobody seems to have any objections.
Both cuts are good.
Logan, we're talking about, we hate using words like you're trying to survive out there, but you do have to attack it. In the back in the day, you could just be safe and get a good cut. Doesn't happen anymore. You gotta go, but in control. How'd you feel?
A little bit slow on the pickup, but that's okay. It's expected. It's a big venue like this, but 11.5, more than half the pool will be there. So it's not like it used to be 10, 15 years ago. 2 cookies on the ground and you're safe. You gotta push it and be competitive.
Great job in the 11s. We're waiting for the official time, Logan. Great cut. We'll see you in the standing block chop in just a moment.
Here's a look from Logan Scarborough. Got a little bit heavy on that first cut. Bit of a thick disc. You can see as he's coming down through there, taking up a good portion of the wood. Gets it nice and thin, in line, doesn't panic, stays calm and cool. Very fast return trip to the top of the log. Able to best Dakota Robarge. And again, I'm on Logan's team. If you're in the low to mid 11s in this wood on this stage, you're doing all right.
We are filling up the 11s here, that is for sure. Take a look at the leaderboard. Logan Scarborough, his time officially 11.50. That lands him in third place.
And this is what we should be seeing. This is what we have seen in the past. You can throw up like a virtual blanket over most of the field, and they're all within a half a second of each other, a couple tenths of each other. And this weekend, I don't know, the stock saw gods were not smiling on this stage. There's been a lot of chaos, a lot of pandemonium. But these guys are they're dialed in today, I should say, and it seems like the times are starting to center themselves.
Yeah, Dakota Robarch, his time for fifth place, officially 11.78. So Dakota hanging in there. His interesting story continues. And he'll be looking to stay in the top 8 overall points after 3 disciplines.
Fifth heat of the stock saw, Cassidy Shear and Jason Lentz.
Former national champion Cassidy Shear, son of the state of Wisconsin. Got some of that hometown love going here. Going up against our defending champ, Jason Lentz.
Yeah, our defending champ that is not sitting so pretty right now.
No,
22-second underhand. It could have been axe, it could have been block, it could have been in his head, it could have been a whole bunch of stuff. But again, file that away.
Warm
Done.
up your saws.
Go back to it.
Moving forward.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
This has got to be an exceptional cut for Jason Lentz, and Cassidy Shear also wants to grab as many overall points as possible. It's advantage Lentz at the switch. Cassidy Shear, though, quick up through the log.
Oh.
Wow, what a race between these guys. 11.92 showing for Jason Lentz. I hate to say it, that's not a bad time, but he needed better.
Way better.
He really needed better.
Both cuts are good.
Well, a great cut by Lentz. Great recovery after the underhand. We'll get a quick word with him right now. Jason, hey, big guy. If you're superstitious, some athletes are superstitious and they're saying, hey, wait a minute, nobody has won on stand number 2. You did it, buddy. You won. You took the win on stand number 2. You're getting those steel points back. I noticed when you warmed up the saw, a very quick warm-up. Is that just because you know, hey, look, they've already been run a few times. They're ready to go. No need to give it a whole lot of throttle?
Yeah, I think they acclimate themselves to the previous cut, so the carburetor self-adjusting. So, yeah, the cut before me, I just went with that pressure, or tried to match that pressure and put a little bit more to it. But, yeah.
Seems that you shook off that underhand cut. You got a big standing block. He's Jones and he's ready to go. Thanks for the interview, Jason Lentz. Clawing his way back.
Some much needed points for Jason Lentz here as he attacks this stock saw event. You can see the chips just pulsing out of there. That saw is at capacity. Nice, clean, straight run down through the bottom. Look at how thin this second disc is on that transition. He was super quick out of the bottom, moving back over for that second cut. Not a lot of timber going to fall on the stage right now. That second one, very thin disc.
Yeah, in the 11s, but not way up in the 11s. 11.80 for Jason Lentz. That has him tied for 6th place with Trevor Bodrick. Cassidy Shear's time, 12.01, has him in 9th place.
go for our final heat of the stock saw. Let's bring them out. Matt Coger and Nate Hodges.
These two finished 1 and 2 in our first discipline of the day. The underhand chop is going to be Matt Coger on the left. Stand number 1, stand number 2. Nate Hodges will make a bold prediction here, Kevin. I don't think Matt Coger may win it, but he will not be able to run away from the field the way he did in the underhand.
No, and this is one of the beauties of this stock saw event is the machine sort of levels the playing field. These are equally tuned MS661s, beautifully running saws, equally matched sticks of wood. It's one log cut in the middle. Those cut faces turned out facing the crowd. It can't get much more even than that. And that's where these guys just get so refined in their technique. They are studying every stage of these cuts.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Ooh, that was really quick on stand number 2 for Nate Hodges. I don't know if he's pushing the envelope too much. I'll tell you what, though, Matt Coger's moving through the wood better. Wow! Oh. What a race!
Just got him. Oh, my goodness.
What a finish between Coger and Hodges.
Both cuts are good.
Let's watch. Oh, we missed the start. Hopefully we get another.
Like 1/100ths?
Hey, Matt, we'll do it real quick, buddy. Great stock saw, 11.33 was the time to beat. Are you chasing that, or are you just being Matt Coger?
I'm just going out and being Matt Coger, just trying to do my thing, and hopefully I catch up to that time they'll beat. And I've been working a lot on my stock saw this year, and it's been paying off.
Gaining hundredths everywhere is the name of the game. 11.33 was the time to beat. 1/100th. 11.32. You just won it, buddy. How do you feel?
No, that's great, man. Thank you.
That's it. Go ahead. Big round of applause. That is a pressure-ready competitor right there.
Well, here's a great look at these two guys side by side at the transition. Nate Hodges actually was into the second cut a little faster, but watch as these bars exit the wood at the top. Kind of slowing this down, looking at it almost frame by frame. Who finishes cutting first? Right there, it's Matt Coger, and you can see there's just a little bit of wood left for Nate Hodges on the top. That is a huge win, and that just emphasizes how important hundreds of seconds are in this stock saw event. Those hundreds of seconds translating to points, those points translating to championships.
1/100th of a second translates to 1 point right there as Matt Coger takes the victory by 1/100th over Adam Lefko in that one right there. His official time 11.32. Third place, Nate Hodges. What a great cut. Only good enough for third, 11.42. So now we have 2 disciplines in the books now out of our 6, and that's the way it stands right now. 7-time U.S. champion Matt Coger on top. Nate Hodges 3 points back from him, and we go down to 8. Of course, only the top 8 after our next discipline will remain to compete on, and we've got a tie right there, 11 points each for Cassidy Shear and Logan Scarborough. So we got a lot of things to resolve when we come back with the standing block chop. That comes your way just moments from now.
The pursuit of the perfect cut continues with our full line of STIHL mowers. From gas or battery to zero turns and push mowers, join the pursuit and find your perfect cut. 0% financing available for qualified buyers. Real STIHL. Find yours.
Let's roll, let's go.
When we work in harmony, anything is possible.
Your local Ace is the largest national retailer of steel power tools. Gas or battery, you won't find this full lineup at a warehouse store. You can find it at Ace.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Duluth Trading Company was born from generations who showed us that the only way to live life is to live it hands-on.
To do it the hard way. To take the trail untrodden. To take the damn thing apart, put it back together, and have the world be better for it.
We don't think that the go all in, dig deep, and get your hands dirty spirit exists in everybody.
We know it does. Duluth Trading. Take on life with your own two hands.
Our live coverage continues here in Milwaukee. STIHL Timbersports 2024 U.S. Men's Championships. We have got 12 who have qualified for this day. Great crowd on hand. Big weekend here at world-famous German Fest. That's where we are at the BMO Pavilion. Let's take a look at our overall standings with 2 disciplines out of 6 in the books. And Matt Koger, the 7-time national champion, sits on top with 24 points, 3 points ahead of Nate Hodges. So as we get ready for our third discipline of the day, let's get it going. Down to you, Dave.
First heat of the standing block chop, Adam Lethko versus Matt Slingerland.
Well, there's your list. There's the heats as they stack up today. Adam Lethko first going up, as Super Dave mentioned. Matt Slingerland. Dakota Robards versus Cassidy Shear, Josh Wilson, Logan Scarborough, and on through the 6 heats. There is Adam Lethko. Good job at stock saw for sure. Adam going to be on stand number 2. There's Matt Slingerland. Currently 3rd in points. Within striking distance of the lead.
Adam Lethko, he's cutting his underhands. You know what? I'd rather see him cut a standing block. Well, my wish is granted. Here comes Adam Lethko versus Matty Slingerland in this standing block. Matty is drawing massive chips out of the front of this log. Lethko is right there, swing for swing. About a half a swing separating these guys as they get in the back of the block. Matty Slingerland's axe sticking a bit on his upward blows in the back. Lethko looking to drive. I don't think he can cash that check right now. He's got to go back and draw some more chips. Trouble for Lethko. Matty Slingerland, though, driving off in about 20 seconds flat.
Matty Slingerland struggled in the standing block day in the semifinal round. He's back right around 20 seconds. You see the power. Hand from a log, a little off the top. That judge down the Russell looking at it saying, look, he had to slap the caution. He's got these nails up top, holding the log together. He's going to be a legal cut to be fast time.
Both cuts are good.
We got to work with Matty Slingerland. He went for an 8-hit front. Very difficult. They're talking about it right now. It's the 2 massive up hits. Those finishing blows, Matt, that we talk about. You've got to lay those finishing blows up before the transition. The whole log slabbed out. And sometimes you've got to step over that massive log sitting on the ground, that piece of firewood. Talk about the cut. Talk about your axe choice.
Yeah, the axe seemed to go pretty good. I think the logs are a bit firm. Had a pretty good front. Stepped those drivers up a touch, so knew I had to step up in the back. Maybe did it a little too much. So, overall, can't complain.
Great cut. And you train with Adam Lethko. What's that like competing against your training buddy?
Oh, we always have fun competing against each other. We do it in the backyard all the time. He's a great competitor, great friend, so it's always good to get a race against him.
Thanks for your time, Matt. I have a feeling we'll be seeing him in the next round, Matt Slingerland.
Here's that run from Matty Slingerland. Great look on the near ground as he goes to work on the front side of this log. I want to talk about the back side of this block, though. He mentioned he was up a little high on the front side, so he steps up the back. Well, there's not a whole lot of real estate to work. By the time you get stepped up a few inches, you've run out of cuttable wood. He now has an overgrown springboard pocket going on in the back side of this log. Just applies the strength and drives through at the end. You see him shake his head a little bit. He knows the backside of that log could be cleaned up a bit.
Metzlinger's official time now 20.43. Of course, he goes to the top here in the first heat. Adam Lefko's official time 25.70.
Yeah, newcomer, no more chopping like a seasoned veteran. Let's bring him out. Dakota Robarge and his opponent, Hayward, Wisconsin's own Cassidy Shear.
On the left, Dakota Robarge, family tradition of lumberjack athleticism for sure. Dakota having a great outing, his first time ever in the national championships. Former champion Cassidy Shear had a good start. The underhand chop. The stock so kind of brought him back down to earth. Lost a little ground there, so he needs to get on it a little bit and get himself back up in the standings.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Here we go, head-to-head, two very good standing block cutters. Dakota Robarge really just blowing this place apart as a rookie. He is around in the back, throwing a big axe with tremendous accuracy. Look at each of those hits. That's the first one that got away from a little bit. It is Cassidy Shear on the far side with a hang-up. Dakota Robarge, a 1798.
Both cuts are good.
We're going to look at the replay with Dakota. See if we get that again. Dakota Robarge, your debut in Timber Sports. You made it to the finals. Awesome cut. You went to the backside. You put 2 up, 2 down. And you were there, buddy. I was going crazy saying drive it off. You made a safe cut. And maybe that was the proper choice to make. You're in the lead in the 17 seconds. Sometimes a safe cut is a winning cut. Talk about it.
Well, it honestly seemed like it was firmer wood today, so I watched the first heat go, and I figured get an X that's free and just cut it.
What a cut going up against Cassidy Shear. What an honor it is to go out against a veteran like Cassidy, be on this stage. Milwaukee in the finals. There's so much energy, the big stage with the brightest lights. How you feeling, buddy?
Oh, it feels great after that one, Dave. I know that I could cut probably a second or two off. Way overcut that log, but I'll take it.
Great job. We're going to see him again, I'm certain, with the 3 events. Big round of applause. Cody Robarge. Here's the replay.
Here's a great head-to-head look at Dakota Robarge and Cassidy Shear in the background. Watch when Dakota opens up the front of this block. Watch how clean it is. 1 and 1, and watch him start chasing these hits in as he goes to 2 and 2. That is the only hit that got away from the bottom of that block. Is beautiful and clean. And I'm with Dave Jewett on this. I don't know that he needed those hits. But again, rookie season, first time here on the STIHL Timbersports stage, advances to the national championship round. Play it safe, I guess, and punch your ticket to round 2.
Doing very, very well. Bringing the rookie magic is Dakota Robarge this week in Milwaukee. Personal best, official time 17.69. Back behind him in second place, former champ Cassidy Shear, 19.48.
What a disruption.
Third heat of the standing block chop.
Points that is for the rest of this year.
Absolutely.
These guys got to go. They're going to have
to go. Here we go. It's going to be Logan Scarborough, stand number 1, going up ahead against Josh Wilson. Those guys kind of holding in the middle lower part of the pack for now. Would behoove them both to do well here. Try to avoid the 4 who will be eliminated after this discipline.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Lefty versus righty. Logan Scarborough on the left side of your screen is a left-handed chopper. Josh Wilson not having a good underhand chop, wants redemption here in this standing block chop. Last chance for STIHL Timbersports overall points. Logan Scarborough, beautiful front face in this log, but Josh Wilson opened it up bigger. Logan Scarborough, 1873.
See what Logan's talking about again.
Both cuts are good.
Logan, it looked to me like you were shooting visual daggers at that log like it could have been faster. Dave's correcting me saying, hell no, he's up there celebrating. Come on over here, buddy. Get a little closer.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So that is my personal best there. It wasn't the best cut, by no means. A lot of things you could change.
Made some adjustments from yesterday. I noticed that on the front.
A buddy of mine backstage actually this morning told me, bend your knees so you can get that up hit a little bit lower. I did that, and definitely helped. Thanks, Mike Ish.
There you go. Well, it really is a family. You know, everybody, all friends are put aside on the stage, but backstage, you guys are really all helping each other, aren't you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a big family.
Thanks very much, Logan. Get your official time momentarily. We got it, Dave?
Here's a look at that run from Logan Scarborough. 1-1. His top hit kind of rotated around a little more than his bottom hit and got a little bit sloppy on the bottom face there. But that could be making adjustments mid-journey here in the finals. I know he appreciates the advice from Mike, and it was good advice. And this is where he's going to have to take that back and just work with it in the backyard. But what I love about this sport, Tommy, that was a new personal best and a great chop for him, the fastest he's ever done it on this stage, but he's already looking ahead to the next one. Nah, it wasn't perfect. There's things they could do different.
Yeah, and a timely chop as well. Look at that personal best official time, 18.55, beats Cassidy Shear, and he was tied with Cassidy Shear at that 8th spot. Of course, there are a lot more permutations that can happen as the rest of the field has to compete, but that did him a lot of good as far as his staying around, avoiding the elimination.
Fourth heat of the standing block chop, Trevor Beaudry and Ben Nicely.
Trevor Beaudry going to be on stand number 1, going up against Ben Nicely. Ben been doing strong here today, been strong here all week, and pretty much strong for the last 6 or 7 years in this particular event, this U.S. Championship, STIHL Timbersports.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Equal delivery on these blocks. I love watching both these guys cut the standing block. Big, long wingspans, big reach. Both these guys into the backside of the block. Synchronized chopping. Small hang-ups from Nicely. Small hang-ups from Beaudry. It is Beaudry by one hit. Time's just melting away in this standing block chop.
Mode on that block to finish it off.
Both cuts are good.
And that is a personal best for Trevor Beaudry. Trevor Beaudry used the same equation that he did yesterday in the semifinal round. He went to the backside, put the 2 up down. You put that 1 up in the near. It took you a couple extra hits yesterday. You made the adjustment, and it came right off in the back. What's the adjustment you made, Trevor? It's quite a science cutting a standing block log.
Some Australian told me where to put the first hit in the back, and I think I did it a little better at least, and it makes a big difference. And yeah, then I knew I could punch it off like I did yesterday, so I figured I might as well try.
Is that Australian here today? We talking about Dale Beams?
Maybe.
He's here. We got one of the best standing block choppers in the world, Dale Beams, in the crowd. Where are you, Dale?
Here's a great look at that cut from Beaudry. That's the front face, the opening face from Beaudry. And this is where things get real serious as he comes around the backside. We can't really see it all that well, but how he opens this block. And once he gets those 1-and-1s in, goes after those corners. You can see he's got the nearwood cut, drives that nearwood, and this is where he starts channeling what we see from Jason Lentz and Matt Koger and those at the top of the game, is just driving a tremendous amount of timber on the back or on the far side of that log.
Championship Finals rookie Trevor Beaudry. Official time of 17.17 puts himself atop the standings in the standing block. Right ahead of, two spots ahead of another rookie in the national championships, Dakota Robarge. Then nicely, though, putting himself in between in second place. His official time 17.62. Seen some good times coming down, as you mentioned, just dropping and dropping, Kevin.
Tommy, there is a learning process to this, too. The later athletes, the later heats, have the benefit of watching the earlier heats. They see how many hits are going to these blocks. They see what the other competitors are doing as far as strategy. So it just it's a learning process, even day of.
Fifth heat of the standing block, Walt Page and Jason Lentz.
Heat number 5 of 6 heats in this third discipline. Walt Page, California, Northern California, on stand number 1. Having a tough start to his day, the defending champion, Jason Lentz.
Yeah, Tommy, I'm glad you brought it up because I certainly didn't want to say anything about it, but Jason Lentz coming into the standing block, sitting 11th.
I know.
Our current reigning national champion in jeopardy of not making the second round.
Stand to your timber.
Got to perform right
3,
now.
2, 1. Go!
Well, good news for Jason Lentz. It is the standing block chop. Bad news is everybody is posting big times. Goes in, punches one driver in. He's into the back, turning right with Walt Page. Draws big chips out of the back. This is where Jason comes through as he looks to drive. It isn't going, though. It's still not breaking. Unbelievable for Jason Lentz. This is just not, this is unfathomable. Yeah. Coming into this, I'm watching the event. I go, he's 11th place. That's not great. Well, standing block, he'll get back in. He'll advance. He can clean things up.
A little dismal right now.
Are good.
So we got a word with Walt Page here, and boy, you can see the front right there, just pinched right out. Walt Page, you broke the world record in the Springboard last year. As we're going to see, the Springboard's on top of a 9-foot pole. You're down on the ground now, translating that same time. You got with this beautiful release and the down hit. Talk about that timing and the slicing that the axe does going through this white pine.
Well, thank you for that, Dave. Sometimes it's better than other times. So really, it's just about weight and moving the axe and trying to generate the most amount of force you can. And you want your arms long so you can increase that pivot point.
You got somebody back home, a big fan you need to say hi to.
William Surguy, every year, buddy. Sure glad you're watching, and we'll hope to see you soon.
Thanks, Walt.
Thanks very much.
So Tommy used the term dismal. I think that's an understatement. I can't believe that Jason Lentz is in the situation that he was in. I thought this was the chance for him to grab some points, but it just wasn't there. Walt Page putting on an awesome show, cleanly cutting this block. You can see it shifted already. Then he goes to the near. That hit right there, he could have been another hit ahead of Jason Lentz. You saw that block shift. He drove near, it twisted. He went to drive far, he missed low and had to go back and reshoot.
Well, there it is, Walt Page's official time, winning that heat with a 17.80. beating Jason Lentz. Jason's time 18.06, only 5th place. And still 2 more athletes to cut here.
Matt Koger versus Nate Hodges.
Well, here it is, top 2 qualifiers, the ultimate standing block of the day. As per the past performances, Matt Koger, 7-time world champion on stand number 1. Nate Hodges, the challenger for California, stand number 2. This will be a good contest right here.
Well, for your viewing pleasure at home, I give you our top
Athletes
2
ready.
points earners today.
Stand to your
Head-to-head,
timber.
with
3,
1 more shot
2,
to grab points.
1, go!
Right there together. Look at the pace of Nate Hodges. He is swinging that axe like a fly swatter. Matt Koger, though, around ahead of him. Hodges just around so fast. I think Hodges has a lot of wood to break, but that's one of his fortes. Hung from Hodges. Oh, my gosh. I think Hodges got him.
Both cuts are good.
I love it. These guys aren't even breathing heavy. They're laughing. Hodges, you finally got the standing block win. We all saw it coming. We saw you a few weeks ago at Cherry Valley hunting everyone down, and you did it in Milwaukee. Congratulations. Talk about that cut. What an honor it is going against the world record holder.
Oh, yeah. It's like, Matt, he's the best. I probably had maybe a little better block there, but we both got tangled up. You know, in my head, I'm like, ooh, I got him. And I'm like, no, I don't. He's got me. It was like, I knew it was back and forth. I shouldn't be listening to his hits, but I do. I hear it. I'm like, oh, crud.
Well, you guys are massive athletes. The whole stage is shaking, so you can't help but to have a little bit of awareness what your competitor's doing. But your speed, you didn't stick the axe. You hit the lines. It all came together.
Yeah, absolutely, David. And a big shout out to the wood crew. I mean, I'm out there working with those guys. They're doing things right. And there's little things that the wood crew pays attention to, you know, putting the logs in tight, putting the shims in, all that little stuff adds up. So big shout out to them. Big shout out to the fans. Thanks to everybody.
We're going to see you moving on to the next round, buddy. Congratulations. Big round of applause. Nate Hodges, your winner in the standing block shot.
Remember this moment. When we are passing out trophies at the end of the day, remember this moment, because this may be the momentum that Nate Hodges needed. He was out of cuttable wood in the front side of the log. Matt Koger actually had a better front face, a little more open air that he could drive into. But again, we talked about this in the underhand. There's that hang up from Hodges, and they both reel back. Just absolute speed from Hodges as he just swings that axe like a fly swatter, like it's just nothing.
Well, it was a wipeout in the underhand. Matt Koger wiping out the field with Nate Hodges right behind him, but Nate Hodges getting it back in the standing block. Look at that official time, 15.82. 15.82, and Matt Koger, 16.05. All right, let's look at the points now, because the gap at the top has undoubtedly narrowed. A 2-point deficit now, Nate Hodges to Matt Koger. And look at Jason Lentz has dodged a bullet here.
Holy
you have to
cow.
be in the top 8, and things fell just the way he had to have it. He is in the top 8. We will have to say goodbye to Logan Scarborough, Cassidy Shear, Adam Letko, and Josh Wilson. Our 8 will soldier on into the next 2 disciplines, and we'll have one more elimination after that. Man, it is going by very fast today. Championship day in Milwaukee. We will be right back.
What drives us may be different, but what we share is the pursuit. Whether taken on the job site or your own backyard, let the pursuit of the perfect cut begin. STIHL zero-turn mowers are here. Right now, get 0% financing plus up to a $1,500 instant rebate on select STIHL zero-turn mowers. Real STIHL.
Your local Ace is the largest national retailer of steel power tools. Gas or battery, you won't find this full lineup at a warehouse store. You can find it at Ace.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Duluth Trading Company was born from generations who showed us that the only way to live life is to live it hands-on.
To do it the hard way. To take the trail untrodden. To take the damn thing apart, put it back together, and have the world be better for it.
We don't think that the go all in, dig deep, and get your hands dirty spirit exists in everybody.
We know it does. Duluth Trading. Take on life with your own two hands.
Let's roll, let's go.
When we work in harmony, anything is possible.
Jason Lentz, the champion in 2021, came into the 2023 event as the #1 qualifier from Pool B.
From Diana, West Virginia, he's won this national championship before. Give it up for Jason Lentz.
Lentz, still pumped up from winning his second trophy championship, turns that energy now towards winning his second U.S. championship. In round 1 of the competition, Lentz would meet Mark Boquin in the underhand.
Uncommon speed from Boquin. It looks like he's around Lentz. Advantage on the turn. Boquin a slight stick. He's going to have to pick up time. Lentz is driving. Lentz has the top broken. The bottom. Can he get the bottom broke? There it is.
Lentz would win the heat, but take second place in the underhand behind 7-time champion Matt Koger. In the stock saw, Lentz would go up against Timbersports veteran Arden Koger Jr.
Looking for those nanoseconds that we always talk about, especially in this discipline. So quick on the switch is Jason Lentz.
Lentz would win the heat, but finish 4th in the stock saw, dropping him to 3rd in overall points heading into the final discipline of round 1, the standing block. He would meet longtime rival and 7-time champion Matt Koger.
While Lentz has just found speed, but Koger, a stick by Lentz. Opening up the door for Koger, a big door. Koger, he's going to put one up on the back, one more, and watch him come at it. Textbook chopping. Holy cow.
Koger would win the heat and take back the top spot heading into the single buck, where he would be facing Jason Lentz once again.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
A beautiful long stroke by Matt Koger. Pulled the nose right in, and he's staying with Lentz. Lentz's ability absolutely takes advantage in the middle of the lawn. Lentz with a slight lead. Koger flatter. Koger is right with him. Koger's, oh no!
An unfortunate outcome for Koger in the single buck would give Jason Lentz the lead in overall points. The two would meet again for the 3rd time in this competition in the Springboard.
Remember that world record pace again. You got to be up to the block in about 15 seconds. Matt Koger not going to be far behind that. A little bit more ginger getting up on that second board, but now he's going to lay waste to it. You heard Jason Lentz talk about, if I can get there within a hit or 2 of them on the top, I'll get after that block faster than anybody. Now's his chance. He's going to go 2 and 2. Look at the slabs of wood fall out of Jason Lentz's block as Matt Koger works his way around to the back. He's going to come in around 40 seconds.
Koger would win the heat, but Lentz would maintain his lead in overall points going into the final discipline, the hot saw. In the hot saw, Koger would lay down a sub-5-second time, placing him in the hot seat. Lentz needs to best the time of Nate Hodges to win the gold.
Hey, go time for Jason Lentz. He can pull this off this time as well within his range. Looks like 3 good, clean, consistent cuts, showing a 5.5 second second run. And you can read lips. Matt Coger said, I think he's got it.
Jason Lentz, the 2023 U.S. champion. Welcome back. Our live coverage continues here in Milwaukee. 2024 STIHL TIMBERSPORTS U.S. Pro Championship. It's been a great weekend here at world famous German Fest. You're here in the BMO Pavilion and been having some terrific competition for 3 days. We settled our women's championship on Friday. Erin Lavoie, congratulations to her. Let's take a look at the overall standings. Now, after 3 disciplines, halfway through the competition here in Milwaukee, and Matt Coger, 7-time national champion, on top with 35 points. 2 points back, Nate Hodges just closed that gap a little bit there. Trevor Beaudry having the tournament of his life, having the championship, his first ever championship, and look at him hanging in there in 3rd place. We had to drop our bottom 4 there, Scarborough, Shear, Lethko, and Wilson. So Jason Lentz, our defending champion, Kevin, dodged a bullet here. I mean, he's got a big hill to climb, but I'll tell you what, he's very fortunate to be here.
Yeah, he's not out of it yet. But so, Tommy, can we just talk about my handicapping from the start of the show?
Yeah, you want?
Can we talk about my ones to watch? Well, I'm watching one of my ones to watch walk down the aisle with 3 beer steins and take a seat in the audience. Cassidy Shear, our 2019 champion. Tough go this weekend is taking a seat in the audience with a cold beer, and I'm a little bit jealous, to be honest. But going back to the rest of the field, Jason Lentz, by the skin of his teeth, is advancing through into the next round. And then, of course, you got the two-man show right now of Coger and Hodges on top of the heap, just beating up on the rest of the field.
Well, once again, we want to remind you, on top, the 7-time champion, Matt Coger. We got 3 more disciplines to go and a lot of issues to settle before it is all over. We have got lots of action on the way. Stay with us here. Let's get it started. Let's go now to our 4th discipline of the day. Take it away, Dave Jewett.
Single buck. We calling the heat? We're calling the heat? We ready to go? Are we talking about single buck? We can talk about single buck. Let's cinch him. All right, we're ready to go. Let's bring him out. First heat of the single buck, Jason Lentz and Walt Page. Single buck.
All right, Jason Lentz, ready. Stand number 1 on the left. Walt Page on the right. Jason Lentz.
3, 2,
absolutely 1, has to get a good cut here, because his job now, first job, is to improve 2 spots, because after the next 2 disciplines, we eliminate 2 more athletes.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Ben Nicely is putting on a great cut. Jason Lentz is going to run away with this one. An 11.8 second run from Jason Lentz. He made it past the gatekeeper. He's into round 2. But as you pointed out, Tommy, there's another one coming up, and he's got a big hill to climb before we get there.
There's that smile we're looking for, Jason. That's what we were looking for. He's back.
Both cuts are good.
Well, I see the explosion off the top of the log. A lot of athletes don't have the confidence. We're going to let Jason get ready for the next event. A lot of the athletes don't have the confidence, Dave, to throw that handle right to the wood. Why? You got 15 pounds of saw hanging out there like a flag. The saw can dip, the tooth and the raker can dive in, stop you. Jason's a freight train. I love it in the 11 seconds, backing me up. Let's see the official time, 11:57. I believe that's the fastest time of the weekend. And boy,
when he needed it most, Jason Lentz came to play. An official time at 11:57. That is going to be tough to beat here today. Hopefully for Jason's sake, that puts him on top of the heap. Just doing what he had to do. Great form, running that entire saw. This is now a new U.S. national record. Talk about pulling it out when you need it the most. Grabbing as many of those STIHL Timbersports points as he can before we get to the end of round 2.
Wow, missing elimination by a whisker is a wake-up call supreme for Jason Lentz, the new national record. Again, the official time, 11.57. Walt Page way behind there in second place in 14.11 seconds.
On the interview, he's going to get ready for the Springboard Chop second heat of the single buck. Matt Slingerland and Dakota Robarge.
Here we go, Dakota Robarge. Eyes on him all week here. What a great job. First time ever. National championship. Matt Slingerland, so many podiums through the years. He can get things going, somehow get himself in contention for the top spot. It's going to take some work. We have seen some tremendous performances out there already today. No doubt more to come.
Yeah, Matty Slingerland had a great-looking single buck. He had his stumbles and fumbles yesterday in semifinal action, but he had a great-looking single buck. Technique was on point. Got to grab as many of these points. Like all these guys are just watching Coger and Hodges sort of run away at the top of the heap, and we're running out of opportunities to reel them back in. Dakota Robarge staying number 2. What can you say about this situation? It's his rookie year. Advances handily through the semifinals. Like doesn't eke through, doesn't get by on some bizarre circumstance. He just forces his way through the semifinals and is looking great here in the finals.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Both these guys off quick. Like how I see Matty Slingerland running just that entire saw, the nose getting sucked back in. These guys are really in a dead heat. Slingerland ahead a bit in the bottom, though. Pulls ahead from Robarge. What a great run. They're not going to take down that time of Jason Lentz. I'm telling you, Tommy, Jason's time is going to be really tough to beat.
Both cuts are good.
Matty Slingerland coming up here. As your wife Cassandra just screamed out, that way to go, Matty. Great job. But just the slight push of the 14, well under 12 seconds, well under 13 seconds in the 12. Speed, you brought the speed you need. How did you feel? Looked like great technique to me, buddy.
Yeah, I love you, Cassandra. Thanks for cheering me on. Yeah, I put the speed on it. Not as smooth as yesterday. I kind of felt the same thing. It was a little chattery, so put speed on it. Wish it was a little faster, but overall pretty smooth, no hang-ups, so can't complain.
You know, we talk about these single buck saws, how difficult it is to him. What's the wait period? If you say, hey, I want to get a freshly made single buck saw, how long are you waiting?
You got to wait about 1 to 2 years. But thanks, JP. Saw's running great. Couldn't ask for a better one, so I'm real happy.
Thanks very much, Matt.
Look at the determination in Matty Slingerland's face as he attacks this single buck event. Runs the saw exceptionally well. Few teeth remaining there on the handle side, but when he gets to the middle of the wood, the bigger timber, handle all the way to the wood. Love what I'm seeing. I agree. Matty called it himself in that interview. He goes, it wasn't quite as smooth as it was yesterday. You can see that ring of red in that log. That can be a denser timber at the top there, and you'll feel that. You'll notice the difference.
Matt Slingerland's official time, 12.71 there. More than a second behind that new national record just laid down by Jason Lentz.
That is a national record right now on this wood size. So Jason Lentz sawing with the elite in that first heat. That is a national record.
Single buck heat 3. Ben Nicely and Trevor Beaudry.
There's Ben Nicely on the left, who's on stand number 1 in this third heat of the hot saw. Trevor Beaudry. First time ever in the U.S. Championship round. And he is having a great event here. See if he can keep things going. Started into our second half of the competition. Third place in overall points.
If you're watching carefully at home, you just saw Trevor Beaudry not quite sprint, but a brisk jog out to his stand. That there is a time limit. They only get 1 minute to get their feet in place, set the saw, and be ready to go. They have to get that starter cut in place, that 25-centimeter starter cut. You will see some of the athletes bring out jigs and various apparati to set their feet, make sure they're in position. Trevor Beaudry, though, drops a tape measure on the deck, gets some chalk out, marks where he wants his feet to be. But he doesn't want to spend any of his, or as little of his, 1 minute of setup time walking to the stand.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Ben Nicely, a little bit of a tentative start there, but once he gets into the block, he gets that saw moving. This is where those long arms need to come into play. There's some more room to that handle where he can get that saw going more. Oh, a hang-up, or not quite a hang-up, but some difficulty for Beaudry at the end of that cut. I thought Beaudry had him by a mile, but Nicely was taking advantage of a little bit of a bobble there from Beaudry.
Both cuts are good.
Well, I'd call Nicely in the lead, but Trevor Beaudry, once you hit the halfway point, Trevor, it seemed like you got in your comfort zone, in the power zone. You did. We worked on single buck saw, let's face it. But the bottom cut, you tried to hoe it off. You deviated your angle. It's dangerous. You kept the saw in the wood. The disc came up, but you almost brought it to a halt.
I took a risk and the wood won.
I'll talk about that. I mean, you have to know the mechanics of the saw. You have to know the radius, the length, the teeth, the rakers. You can't see what's happening in the wood. It's all in there. You can't see the teeth. You just have to know in your mind, this is what's going to happen if I throw those teeth in, especially when the saw is only being supported by about 8 inches of wood in that bottom.
Yeah, so I knew there wasn't much left. And it's a gamble at that point. I knew that it wasn't necessarily the correct technical decision, but if I could have healed it off, it would have saved me a whole stroke. But the flip side was healing it off caused me to hang the saw a little bit, and that cost me more than it would have if I just knocked it off easy.
Great awareness, Trevor. Thanks for the explanation. Trevor Beaudry, Walpole, New Hampshire.
We have a great look here at Trevor Beaudry's footwear. Those are actually outdoor soccer cleats, the kind with like the hard plastic sole, and then those are logger caulks, razor sharp steel points anchored into those hard plastic cleat bottoms. You have to be locked in. You're transferring all of your power through your feet. Trevor Beaudry transferred a whole lot here on the bottom. This is the equivalent right there of going for the drive. He tries to lean on that saw and shove it through the bottom of the log, and he said the wood won on this one. That was a little premature. He wasn't quite far enough down through the log, could not drive it off. Almost stalls the saw out completely. Does keep it under motion, though.
Fourth place for Trevor Beaudry with that cut. Official time 13.80. Right behind him, Ben Nicely. Fifth place, His time, 13.98.
Fourth heat, final heat of the single buck cut. Nate Hodges, the winner of the standing block, versus Matt Koger. So Nate Hodges.
Yet another matchup here between Nate Hodges and Matt Koger. Two top prospects. The single buck here. Boy, the time to beat Jason Lentz is a mountain here. Mountain to climb. Just set the new national record at 11.57.
And these guys saw it. They were counting the strokes. They were looking at his form. They've now seen a whole pile of really top-notch athletes attack these two logs. And by the way, Tommy, I was talking about the devices that some of these guys use to get their feet exactly where they want to be, exactly like they practice at home. Nate Hodges is coming out with his personal device. Looks like a little piece of Luan, a little bit of thin plywood with a couple of 2x4s fastened to it. He has to measure back where that front edge of that device goes from the face of the log, screws it into the deck, and gets his feet locked into those boards.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
I'm going to give technique to Matt Koger on stand 2. I'm going to give speed and power to Nate Hodges on stand 1. We'll see who comes out on top. I love what I'm seeing on stand 2, but that drop on stand 1, it is going to be Matt Koger. Neither one of them coming close, though, to Jason Lentz. Boy, did Jason do himself a whole lot of good in this single buck event.
Koger started a little steeper. He might want to bring it down, but I thought it was a great cut by Koger cutting to his level. What are you looking at, Dave? I'm looking at Hodges. He set that saw in sideways. Look at the angle on that cookie. He was fighting that long the entire time, just not as free as I thought it would be. Those noodles at the beginning were telling me a different tale. Unfortunately, he wasn't twisted his wrist and really drove that saw against the board.
Both cuts are good.
Well, we've seen Matt Koger break the national record. Here you go, Dave. Here's that disc. I'm not sure why he went so thick, but you can see it gets thicker as he goes. Matt Koger, don't go anywhere, big guy. We're looking at Nate Hodges' cut right now. What are you looking at there? I thought you made a great cut. I thought Hodges took a great saw and slowed it down a little. You just gained time. Hodges throwing the near wood in, it healing. Talk about your cut. You broke the national record on this stage, but you got great times. You're being Matt Koger today, going to your potential.
Yeah, just like anything, you got to have faith in your gear to do the cutting for you. And, I've done a lot of work over the winter time, just trying to get more comfortable with single bucking and just make it second nature, just like wood chopping.
Now, you've been up to Quebec. You've been in J.P. Mercier's shop. What an advantage is that, seeing the saw filers at work, knowing exactly how everything works, the teeth, the rakers, the gullet, the plate, the belly. The more knowledge you have, because let's face it, you're a full-time athlete. You take every advantage you can. Talk about that.
No, you gotta understand like how that saw is cutting. That the raker is the thing that actually does the cutting more so than the teeth. But everything has got to work together. There's about 64 teeth on that thing that's got to be all tuned into that raker that's matched up. And all of that has to be adjusted right to make it really smooth. And then you got to run it and present it right. You got to run and pull through the near wood that presents enough for the far push and just makes it really smooth. And I mean it's a lot of science.
Hodges right on your heels with steel points, only 2 points behind you. Just gained 1 point you may need going into that hot saw. Good job, buddy.
Yeah, thank you.
There you go, Matt Koger. We're going to see what his official time was.
Well, two cutters could not be more different in their approach. And again, I got to give technique points to Matt Koger. He has spent a tremendous amount of time working with the greats like J.P. Mercier on form, on technique, on understanding the mechanics of this saw. I didn't even notice that in the actual event. There was a lot of foot slipping as that skittered around at the bottom of his cut.
Well, Matt Coger's official time, a 12.73, and for the first time today, Matt Coger not getting either first or second place points. That's third place points for Matt Coger, but fortunately for him, his nearest rival, Nate Hodges, finishes one slot below him, an official time of 13.10. Let's see how that's reflected in our overall points here. There it is, Matt Coger extending that lead a little bit over Nate Hodges, 4 points. It is now Matt Slingerland in third place, and Jason Lentz coming from the precipice down there in 8th place, setting a national record, and that's what happens when you do big things. You move way up that leaderboard. 4th place now, Jason Lentz, Trevor Beaudry, Robarge, Nicely, and Page rounding out the top 8 with one more before we make another elimination. We will take a break and come right back with the Springboard Chop.
What drives us may be different, but what we share is the pursuit. Whether taken on the job site or your own backyard, let the pursuit of the perfect cut begin. STIHL zero-turn mowers are here. Right now, get 0% financing plus up to a $1,500 instant rebate on select STIHL zero-turn mowers. Real STIHL.
Your local Ace is the largest national retailer of STIHL power tools. Gas or battery, you won't find this full lineup at a warehouse store. You can find it at Ace.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Duluth Trading Company was born from generations who showed us that the only way to live life is to live it hands-on.
To do it the hard way. To take the trail untrodden. To take the damn thing apart, put it back together, and have the world be better for it.
We don't think that the go all in, dig deep, and get your hands dirty spirit exists in everybody.
We know it does. Duluth Trading. Take on life with your own two hands.
Let's roll, let's go.
When we work in harmony, anything is possible.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin, the sun's starting to come out soon. Lake Michigan will be glittering here. Perfect weekend here, and we are closing in on the perfect ending to the 2024 STIHL Timbersports U.S. Pro Championships here. Let's take a look with 2 disciplines left to go at the overall standings, and 7-time champion Matt Coger sits on top there with 47 points, 4 points behind him. Nate Hodges of California, Matt Slingerland, who's also been close so many times here in 3rd place, and our defending champion Jason Lentz making big strides up from 8th place in the single buck all the way into the 4th spot on the strength of a national record set in the single buck. Let's take you down to the stage, Super Dave Jewett, and let's get it going with the Springboard Chop.
All right, Milwaukee, let's shake it up. This is the Springboard Chop. Double points continue. Heat 1 of the Springboard. Jason Lentz versus Walt Page. Lentz, the winner of the single buck. Walt Page on your right.
All right, Jason Lentz climbing back into this thing in a big, big way with that great single buck effort we just talked about. Got another chance to do some big things here. Job 1, of course, would be in the top 6 at the end of this one right here, and avoid elimination. But after that, all that's left is the hot saw. And this, maybe not as unpredictable at the hot saw, but this is probably the most daunting of all the disciplines.
Yeah, there's just a lot of things to go wrong. There's a lot of things that can go right, though. I mean, these competitors are going to be chopping, I should say, their first springboard pocket about 3 feet off the ground. A great, perfect pocket before hits. They'll set that first board. They'll repeat at about the 6-foot level. Then they go to work on that white pine log at the top.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 1, go!
And what a heat to start the Springboard event. On your right, Walt Page, our current world record holder in the Springboard event. Jason Lentz, our current reigning U.S. national champion, trying to claw his way out of a points deficit here in the Springboard. Trouble for Walt Page, very uncharacteristic as he is going back, trying to fix up that second pocket. Jason Lentz is not waiting around. He is into the block, about 2 hits, maybe a swing and a half ahead of Walt Page. This is where Jason Lentz is going to come to form. He's always said, he goes, you know what, I might not be the first one to log, but I'll be the first one through the log at the top. Walt Page, a switch-handed cutter. He's around to the backside, around that 44-second mark, well behind world record pace. There it is, Walt Page comes through. I can't believe he came back from that second pocket.
Wow.
Both cuts are good.
Well, here's Walt Page. He's on the backside, that awkward backhand. We're going to talk about Page. Walt, you don't have to break world records. You know we're doing our job, buddy, and we're talking you up that 35-second cut. We'll be talking about that for years. You're the fastest in the world. Still, in my mind, uncharacteristic, though. 4-hit bottom pocket, textbook. You were hitting the log in 15 seconds last year, then something happened in that top pocket. What are your thoughts?
Yes, something happened in that top pocket, Dave. You know, sometimes they go good, sometimes they go bad. That was a bad one. And, you know, there's no going on a bad pocket. So you got to spend the time, you got to fix it, you got to get on something you know is going to hold you. And that's what I did.
Which hit was it? You looked like you opened okay, but you can go too flat, you can go too steep. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it was number 5 or number 4 that went awry. I'm not sure which. But once you splash one in, it's like, oh boy, we're going to have to stay here and fix this thing.
Yeah, absolutely incredibly risky. You guys are big gentlemen. You can't be going up there on a compromise board. Great recovery, Walt Page.
Thank you.
So Walt Page.
A bit of a shocker for Walt Page. You could hear him even say, you know, I don't know what went wrong. It just happens sometimes. And I agree. It happened to me a lot when I was competing. Watch him go in here. There's 1, 2, 3. He's very low down by the bark. There's 4. He goes to pop in number 5. It didn't really do much. It didn't clear a chip. There's number 6. I'll stop counting now because he's just trying to flick and clean out the back of that hole. I'm wondering how the edge of that axe is too, because the logs with the bark on them have been rolled around, moved around. They may be a little bit dirty. That's why they peel that bark away to get to the clean wood underneath. These axes do not tolerate any sort of dirt. Walt does a beautiful job though when he gets to the block at the top, lets all the bad pocket work go away, and look at the accuracy from Walt Page as he chases one hit in after the other, gets around to the back as quick as possible. A switch-handed cutter cleanly finished this block.
Well, an official time again for Walt Page at 48.96. Not his best, but his standard is the highest of all. So that's a hard one to attain every time. Jason Lentz, second place. 4 seconds back, 52.58. This Springboard, we are down to 8 competitors, of course. We will eliminate 2 more of them before we head into the hot saw, the most unpredictable of all events. That's going to wrap up our day for us and provide us, no doubt, some plot twists and lots of excitement. But look at these overall standings now. We're going to update you on them. Of course, this is just one heat in 2. Springboard chop. We got Matt Koger, Jason Lentz. Of course, Jason Lentz was in that one, so he moved up here. We were in a double point situation right here in this round. Triple points for the hot saw. But 47, Matt Koger still hanging up on top. So let's go on. Let's get on to heat number 2 of the Springboard Chop.
9-6. Let's do it. Heat 2 of the Springboard. Matt Slingerland and Dakota Robarge.
Matt Slingerland hanging in there in third place in overall points, going up against Dakota Robarge. What a great Squeaky is having one of our big stories, one of our feel-good, it's an overused term, stories this week. But it sure does make you feel good to see someone with a great family tradition with his dad, Wally Robarge. Timber sports fans of a certain age will remember him competing well. All Page's time, 48.96. That's the one to beat.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Good cuts out of the first heat, but certainly room for improvement, room to grab some overall points. Neither one of these guys was spectacular first board sets, but they look good now. They had to put a little extra work in it. It actually look really good now. Nice level board sets, great body position, puts you in a great setup to set that second board, and that's where the real work happens. Look at Robarge leaping to that second board right on the heels of Matt Slingerland. Matt Slingerland wading deep into the front side of this log. Nice wide open face, tons of slope. He can work that back, get all the way far into this block. Matt Slingerland, though, one of the strongest switch-handed cutters in the backside of the log. Robarge ditto into the back as well.
Wow.
It is Matt Slingerland, 44.86 on that unofficial clock. Robarge about 3 hits behind, maybe 4 hits behind.
You saw Dave Slingerland cut that top pocket. He took Walt Page into place. Went 4 hits deep to the job he stayed in. I can't think of a word with Slingerland. And that's his professionalism, situational awareness, knowing the points, knowing I have to be on a good top board. If that board gives way, he's out of the running for the national title.
Both cuts are good.
Wow.
Keep my tag on, keep him fresh.
What is that? Matt, I keep saying situational awareness. What I mean by that is you're right there in points. You saw Walt Page fix that top pocket. You went for 4 in the top. It didn't happen. You made the adjustment.
Yeah, same with the bottom pocket, Dave. Opened it a bit wide. The wood was a bit firm in the pocket, so wasn't shaping up right, but I knew if I just stuck in it and just kept moving the axe, that I could get some pace up top and just hammer down.
Talk about getting pace with the axe. Is this the same axe that you would use on the ground in the underhand or the standing block?
No, this one's a bit smaller. Give me a little more speed. Smaller log up top, so you don't need as big of an axe. But yeah.
Plus, people forget that clip on the end of the springboard that goes into the pocket. It's only about 3 to 3.5 inches wide. How do you work that out with such a wide, sometimes a 7.5 inch wide axe?
Yeah, that's why you go smaller axe, Dave. You can kind of hit the wood a little bit better. You don't have to get as deep, so you don't need as much axe, and speed's better in this event.
Great interview. Thank you very much. Big round of applause. Matt Slingerland, your leader in the Springboard.
Well, these guys had the benefit of watching the heat before them. You can see that axe kind of bounce out there for Dakota Robarge as he gets it gathered up, makes a nice 6-hit pocket. A little bit of a cliff at the top there for Robarge, but Slingerland had a very smooth top face in that first board. Set him up for a great opportunity here in the second one. There's a look as Slingerland advances to the block at the top. Great slope, great axe presentation on the front side of this log. 2 hits, draw out a big chip, reaches way around with the heel of that axe. shifts a ton of timber. And then when he gets to the back of the block, this is where Matty can really shine. He spent a portion of his career cutting pockets with his other hand, other direction, I should say. Got a little out of hand there at the very end. But watch him as he goes into the back. Looks totally at home, swinging the axe right-handed. The only thing that went wrong is he had a little bit of near wood left. When he starts driving on the front side, there was a little wing. And you see his final hit was actually a near hit, close to him. That's the inverse. You want to cut that wood first. You want that top of that block to twist away from you, open up, and then attack the far.
Very nice effort for Matt Slingerland right there, 44.65. His official time puts some big-time distance between himself and the other three competitors who have cut so far. Dakota Robards there, 52.30. That's got him in third place. Walt Page sits there in second. Jason Lentz in fourth as it stands right now with 2 more heats to go on the Springboard. Update you on the overall points right now. Of course, we've got a great race at the top between Matt Koger, Nate Hodges there. Slingerland's cut now, so he has, of course, gone ahead of them in the points. The points are double point situations here in these heats number disciplines number 4 and 5, and so that's going to make you move very fast. But that's the big story at the top is Koger and Hodges as it stands now. Jason Lentz, our defending champion, right behind them as it stands now. Again, incomplete because of we're not done with the discipline yet. But Jason Lentz moving up big time. Good effort from him in that first heat. He had taken it all the way down to 8th place. Crowd indulgence and yo-ho, some Wisconsin-style Timberwoods cries of joy there. Signals to one another. And we get ready. We got the poles switched out. We're ready for our final 2 heats of the Springboard Chop.
Super Dave Jewett.
Thanks, Dave. Third heat of the Springboard Chop. Ben Nicely and Trevor Beaudry chasing 44.65.
Ben Nicely on the left, Trevor Beaudry on the right here in this heat number 3. Personal best for Ben Nicely is under 1 minute. Trevor Beaudry has not cut under a minute yet in his Timber Sports experience. So far, all of our cuts have been sub 1 minute. Of course, you'd expect that here in the finals of the national championship.
Yeah, he's never cut under a minute, but he's also never been to this level yet.
Right.
So if there was a time to find one.
Yeah. If the rising tide lifts all boats, yeah, he could be in for his first sub-minute time.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Nobody has had a perfect 4-4 climb. These guys are going to try for it. Ben Nicely. Oh, just a little double clutch. He's going to go on it. There may just been a small chip in there. Beaudry trouble, though, on his first board set. Ben Nicely is opening up a small storage unit on that second pocket, but boy, that's going to hold the board. He's going to be way back in. You can't just, he's got to slam that board, get it to the back of the hole. I'm assuming he got it all the way in there, but I'd like to see these athletes just get the tail up on that board, slam it to the back, make sure it's registered in the back of that pocket. I do not like this second pocket from Trevor Beaudry. It is listing to the right very hard. There's also a piece of trash in there. There he goes. He's got it cleaned up now. Slope is good, but look at the list in that board from heel to toe. His heels are very high. His toes are very low. Ben Nicely is just could care less about my critique of Trevor Beaudry's pocket. He is turned to the backside of this log. We are past the 1 minute mark, but there it is. Ben Nicely finishing off around the 109 mark. Beaudry in a tough physical position, just way out of balance on that board. He's making the best of it though, cutting fairly clean.
To do it. There you go. Trevor Beaudry off at 142 unofficially.
Both cuts are good.
Hey, buddy. Yeah, you saw what I saw. I know I'm probably distracting you, but I got to tell the crowd. Yeah, that first hit is a beautiful hit. It has to be a hard hit, doesn't it? But the power that axe just released those fibers and you blew a piece of wood. It didn't look like much, but that's all it takes to let that board down. Tell us how quickly you have to react when you see what I saw there.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a slab, you have to adjust. You think to yourself, should I take one more hit or should I risk it? And in this event, you just have to risk it. You have to go for it.
Yeah, and you made the adjustment. You got that front foot right up to the pocket, sort of taking the weight off of the back of the board. And you almost have to practice that in case something like this happens.
Yeah, I do. I practice that because it seems to happen to me every year.
Great chop up top. It sounded like the axe was working. I could hear the wood just popping and exploding when that axe. Great axe choice. How'd you feel about your cut up top?
It was all right. It was a little flat. I wish I could have kept more slope, but the board was pretty steep, so I was working with what I had.
We're not sure yet if we're going to see you in the hot saw. We're going to see how the points shake out. In the meantime, get your chaps on. I'm hoping we see you, buddy. Regardless, you've had just a hell of a series this year. Great job in the semifinals. Great job in the finals. You've given it everything you got.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all for coming out.
Let's look at the opening hit right there. That downward drive from Ben Nicely. You see it just slabs down the pole. I think he, in that nanosecond, made the choice to drop that second hit down. Then he goes in, see it, he almost delivered it like a little micro pizza. There was a chip of wood, some trash in the back of that pocket. So those two things together set him up with kind of a sagging first board. And you can see he's choked up, he's in tight, it throws off the mechanics, and that second pocket, he says, you know what, I'm just going to run it in deep. He puts in one more hit there. That thing, you could park a Volkswagen in it, but he's got to get this board all the way to the back. I don't like that sort of tentative set in there. It held well, it was a third of the way into the tree, and he goes about the work at the top of getting that block down.
Well, there you go. Ben Nicely's time of 1.09.21. Good enough for fifth place right there. Trevor Beaudry's time officially 142.04. So Ben Nicely, Trevor Beaudry. Only 6 are going to advance to the hot saw, our final discipline of the day. Yet we have 2 more yet to cut here as we take a look at our updated points right now. Still with 1 heat remaining here. We got Matt Slingerland on top, but that's going to change because Koger and Hodges, we expect it to change because Koger and Hodges have not cut yet. Matt Koger, always a great springboard cutter, just like he is great at everything else here, but Nate Hodges has laid down some of the fastest springboard times of the past decade here. So that is going to be very critical to the way the standings are as we move into the final event. That's coming up next.
I think that was some style points. All right, here's the hat.
Fourth heat of the Springboard Chop, Nate Hodges and Matt Koger.
So here they are, Hodges and Koger going to be, I mean, all indications are that this is going to be a great battle. We are in a double point situation. Things could change at the top of that leaderboard.
Tommy, I think this is going to be a barn burner of a heat between these two athletes. I have given up my seat. I have moved to a standing position for a better vantage point. I don't want to miss
the knees. Knees okay.
I don't want to miss anything that's about to go down on this stage.
Matt Coger, the 7-time champ. Multiple silver medal performances in these championships from Nate Hodges.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Nobody's climbed perfect yet. We'll see if either of these guys can pull it off. They're doing a little bit of extra work, but it looks like they got the board set cleanly. Hodges just a small advantage going into this second hole. He's maybe half a swing ahead of Coger. Oh, trouble though for Hodges though. Boy, this is Nate Hodges has got his work cut out for him, but he is a working fiend. He is going to have to work very hard to catch up to Matt Coger. Coger with about a 2-hit advantage into the block at the top. Coger has run out of cuttable wood in the front of the block and is switch hitting into the back of it. 40 seconds has elapsed. Oh my gosh, that came off way faster than I thought on the backside of this log. Time is ticking away. There it is for Hodges, around 47 and change. Boy, Matt Coger just came to play today. We didn't see an overwhelming performance out of him in the semifinals yesterday.
No.
But you and I had kind of talked even last night at dinner. I said, I just don't think we saw everything from Matt, especially in the Springboard yesterday.
Both cuts are good.
Great job, Matt. We're just looking at the replay. Beautiful climb. Looks like you went for a sure top pocket. Those first opening hits, it's harder than most athletes hit on the ground. How confident, how many years did it take? We knew at 16 years old, you were the hardest hitter, ranked the hardest hitter in the country. Maybe not the fastest, but the hardest. You could sever a log in less hits than any athlete in the United States. And it looks like you've just maintained that technique. Your father brought you up in the sport. Talk about the timing to open up that block upstairs.
Yeah, you got to be confident in that top board just to kind of lay back on it. I had a few guys help me out, give me a few confident words there this morning, and it definitely helped to, just lay on it and try to open up the big wood, get it out real quick so you can get right to it.
Right before go, it looks like your hands just loosened up. You really do have to stay loose in these cuts, don't you?
Oh, yeah, you got to stay loose, and then, just for me, it's just like a little bit of a grounding technique, so it's good.
Go get your hot saw. Matt Coger winning 2 out of 3 of the chops. Hot saw coming up.
Let's take a look at that run from Matt Coger. There's hit number 2, 3, and 4 on the way. There's our 4 hits from Matt Coger, but then he puts in a little bit extra insurance policy. Nobody has climbed this in 4 and 4 today. I don't know if the timber's just not there. They're not trusting it. We saw Ben nicely slab out on his opening pockets. And again, a sure bet on this second pocket as well. Great clean pocket. In the background, Hodges struggling with that second pocket. About a 2-hit advantage for Matt Coger in the block at the top. Here comes number 1. There's 2 before Hodges can get to work on the block at the top. Both of these guys will motor through a log, but it's hard to catch Matt Coger.
Well, he's only failed to win one of the 5 completed disciplines so far today. That one was very, very important, though. That is for sure. Matt Coger taking the top spot in the springboard there and beating Nate Hodges. Nate Hodges, perhaps the biggest threat he was able to bring today would probably have been here in the springboard. It did not materialize. Nate Hodges' time of 47.70 puts him in 3rd place. So we take a look at our overall points now as it stands going into the hot saw, and there's Matt Coger on the strength of that great performance, and great performances all day long has opened up a much bigger lead over Nate Hodges, also with the assist from the double point situation. And here we've been for the past 2 disciplines now. So Matt Coger on top, Nate Hodges in 2nd place. Of course, only 6 will advance to the hot saw. We've already had eliminated Scarborough, Shear, Lethco, and Wilson, and now we must say goodbye to Ben Nicely and Walt Page. Trevor Beaudry, the last man in the 6th place. Dakota Robarge on top of him. Jason Lentz in 4th place. So when we come back, points will triple. And we go into the hot saw, Kevin, and it is a place where anything can happen. This thing is far from over yet, but you got to say at this point, a huge advantage to the 7-time champion, Matthew Coger of West Virginia. We take a break right now, and we'll step back in shortly.
The pursuit of the perfect cut continues with our full line of STIHL mowers. From gas or battery to 0 turns and push mowers, join the pursuit and find your perfect cut. 0% financing available for qualified buyers. Real STIHL. Find yours.
Let's roll, let's go.
When we work in harmony, anything is possible.
Your local Ace is the largest national retailer of STIHL power tools. Gas or battery, you won't find this full lineup at a warehouse store. You can find it at Ace.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Duluth Trading Company was born from generations who showed us that the only way to live life is to live it hands-on.
To do it the hard way. To take the trail untrodden. To take the damn thing apart, put it back together, and have the world be better for it.
We don't think that the go all in, dig deep, and get your hands dirty spirit exists in everybody.
We know it does. Duluth Trading. Take on life with your own 2 hands.
Getting close to the end, the final conclusion of this very, very exciting 2024 STIHL Timbersport Series U.S. Pro Championships. We are at world-famous German Fest. It's been a great pleasure to be here. What a great spot to contest this. Great visuals that we have seen so far. Great opening ceremony here. These 12 athletes who have fought very hard through the 3 pools yesterday in order to make it from the 24 down to the 12. And we've got some former champs who had a hard go of it today. A lot of great performances. And we are down to 6 competitors right now. 7-time world champion, Matt Coger, the man with the lead, big-time lead, 8 points ahead of Nate Hodges. But the points are going to triple now. We are down to 6. The points will triple, and we will contest this hot saw, not head-to-head competition, Kevin Holtz, but singly.
Well, and Tommy, just to reiterate, you've mentioned this before, the hot saw is the most diabolical event. There is more stuff that can go wrong than any other discipline we have here today. So you know what? Let's assign triple value points to it, right?
Why not?
Like, let's take the most fickle mistress we have, the hot saw, and put the largest emphasis on it. This could go any way.
Well, you kind of, everybody, you know, if you're a fan, you want a plot twist. You know, unless you're building it in.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's talk a little bit about these hot saws, too. For the folks that have never seen these before, these are not chainsaws. Don't even for a moment try to convince yourself it's a chainsaw. These are snowmobile engines. These are dirt bike motors. These are personal watercraft motors that have been milled, molded, welded, manipulated into becoming chainsaws.
Another look at our overall standings with the hot saw left to go. And again, the big lead for Matt Koger. A triple point situation, though. Matt Koger has any trouble getting that saw started, completing 3 discs. All manner of things can cause those 2 bad outcomes there. Hey, it's the Wild West. It's wide open. If Matt Koger can put 3 discs on the ground, competitive time is going to make it very hard for the rest of this field. Mike Slingerland, certainly part of the conversation as well. He has been on the podium multiple times, has never been able to seal the deal and win himself a championship. That's the same case for Nate Hodges. Also, could be 2 great stories there. And how about the story of Jason Lentz? Almost got eliminated at the first elimination round. Finished in 8th place, just a whisker ahead of being eliminated, but fought his way back in fine fashion, including a national record set in the single bar.
And any one of these guys, too, they're all in a fine position. They all have extremely exceptional hot saws, different displacements, different builders, all sorts of stuff, messing with different chains. Boy, you come into this, though, you go, well, who's the better hot saw operator? Who's got a better hot saw? Yeah.
You might also ask, what day is it?
Right, exactly. These guys are all exceptional operators. We're seeing bigger and bigger displacement motors coming out. We're seeing new chain technology that literally just launched, I don't know, a month ago. And people are starting to mess with that. The new high-tooth 404 chain that's out. So the times are going to be very interesting to see. And Tommy, you sort of mentioned some of the things that could go wrong. I think you covered about 1% of the things that could go wrong with these saws. The launch procedure alone with one of these hot saws is just mind-boggling. It's a whole laundry list of items that has to come together, whether it's throttle lock, making sure you've got your belly band on. A lot of these guys are going to be wearing kidney belts so their shirts don't get sucked into the carburetors, making sure your ignition is on, making sure your oiler's on, making sure you've pushed in your decompression valves. All of the, making sure your tether is hooked up to your throwaway starter cord. So many parts and pieces have to come together just before the go on this event.
And of course, with the stock saw, the competitor started with the saw started and running. You already had the saw started. This one, you have to get the saw started. This is unlimited here. These are built custom for this job right here. They are individual. Each one has a different machine here, and building something that will start and being able to execute that is an important part of that combination you're talking about, Kevin. Just moments away from getting our first competitor out there. That is going to be Trevor Beaudry. Trevor finishing in 6th place. Trevor Beaudry, a great story.
The points are triple. So I get barked at from the production truck in my right ear, and they said, hey, Dave, let's move on. Let's get Dave Johns out here. Someone found him out back. We lost him in German Fest. He probably went to the beer tent, bought some souvenirs, but they're saying Dave Johns is here. He is in the house, and we're going to get him out here as soon as Dave
It's no longer Dave Johns.
Because there's only so much I can.
It is
oh, dear Lord, there he is.
Let's go, German Fest! This is what happens when an Irish boy comes to German Fest right here. You embrace the culture. Let's go! Who's ready for the hot saw? I can't hear you. Who's ready for the hot saw? Let's bring him out, Jewett.
That is not fair at all. That is so unfair. Let's bring him out from Walpole, New Hampshire. First heat of the hot saw, Trevor Beaudry.
Here we go, Trevor Beaudry, Walpole, New Hampshire, school teacher by trade, first time ever. He's been to the semifinals before multiple times, but this is his first time to break through into the championship round, and he has handled it well. Made the first elimination, survived the second one as well, and here he is, the first hot saw cut about to be executed. 6-man
Warm up your saw.
Final discipline of the day.
Well, Tommy, step one done for Trevor Beaudry. Saw started.
Tick that one off.
Yep. The number of variables, again, I was running through this before Trevor Beaudry came out. You see there, he is winding his throwaway starter cord around the crankshaft pulley on the far side of that motor. He's clipping the tether to the throwaway starter cord so it doesn't fly away. He gets his 30-second call. Make sure that his throttle is locked, his decompression buttons are pushed in, his ignition is on. The last thing he'll do, you see his left hand is down there by the oiler. That is the oil valve, I should say. At the last signal from the head judge, he'll flip that on, and then it's go time.
Athlete ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
First time in the finals. Oh, troubled a lot of the gate. He fans the end of the log. Saw not super happy either. Gets 3 on the ground. I think that first one is going to be a complete disc because you can see, actually, it's a beautiful shot of it right there. It's the bottom disc. It is face down on the stage. You can see he nicked the outside edge of it, but reshot. They're checking a thin disc. They're going to make sure he didn't cut the line. A lot of inventory going on, making sure they've got discs, they've got lines.
Cut is good.
I don't know if you're in it.
I'm probably not.
So we're gonna do an interview. Yeah, well, now hang on now. So we got the hot seat here, who will be the virtual leader. So we believe you're gonna sit there anyway. We'll talk about that. Is this a saw you borrowed? It looked like it got a little out of control from you. Not really your fault. You're not familiar with it, but buddy, you took control once you got a hold of that back handle.
Oh, you got to go for it. I'm so far behind. There's no way I'm gonna win. So I was going for it. I was a little squirrely on the start and biffed it because I was too thin. So I just scooped off the top, and then I got into it, and I might have leaned on it a little too hard. I pulled it down a little, and then it was real squirrely on the upcut, and it was pretty thin for the third one. But I got 3 in. So that's
what's it like holding on to 60 horsepower? You know that chain is just flying. It's been called just the greatest adrenaline. Quite a thrill when you get those discs off. Is it pure adrenaline? Your heart's just pounding.
Well, I don't know about you. It feels like running like a Steel 460 to me. No, it is definitely a completely different feeling than anything you've ever run. Everything shakes. It's kind of wild. You're shaking. It's shaking. And you're just trying to pilot it as best you can. Thankfully, I was able to squeak that third disc in there. I paused there for a second and lined it up, and I just followed the line right down the block. It was probably 1/4 of an inch thick.
Well, the boss is telling me you got to sit down in the hot seat. Take a break. Your weekend is done. Great round of applause coming all the way from Walpole, New Hampshire, Trevor Beaudry.
Well, there's your time for Trevor Beaudry, 7.85. That's job one is done. You got to get a complete cut. We have seen more than one event where about half the field is DQing in that final round. We're not kidding about the volatility of this particular discipline right here.
Dakota rope barge.
Well, Tommy, I'm trying to think how to phrase this without sounding like I'm discrediting the man on the stage right now, but I'm stunned. I'm absolutely stunned and thrilled for Dakota Robarge. Shows up, semifinal action. Again, didn't eke into the finals, made a definitive statement coming into the finals, and I go, okay, finals day. Great. That's a huge accomplishment. Made it through round two. Through round one, round two. We are in round three. What an accomplishment for Dakota Robarge.
Absolutely. What a story this week for this young man. Competes in a lumberjack show in northern Michigan, way up in northern Michigan. Of course, he gets a lot of good drills and training in, and on a daily basis. Comes from a prominent family in the sport. It's a family tradition of competing here. Has never been able to get much done here. The national championships, he's got a lot done this time around.
Athlete ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
A little bit high as he goes to that first cut, but he gets it settled in. Oh, trouble on third cut. He has to go back and reshoot. I don't know. He's shaking his head. It may not have a line there.
Yeah.
Oh, the flags are flying. I tell you what, I got nothing bad to say. I've got nothing bad to say. The pressure this young man is under, marching through semifinals, the fact that he is standing there with that opportunity, I have nothing bad to say. You cannot fault him for that cutout right now.
The cut was bad. DQ cut the line.
That's like a Rich. Oh, that's not fair. Come on over here. I know. You stay there. Oh, Rich Hallett, the nerve of him. All he's supposed to say is the cut is no good. He said the cut was bad. He walked away with a smile on his face. I know you guys, good buddies, talk about this whole experience. There was a lot of chatter. I said it again for years. The advisory committee saying we need to give Dakota Robarge his chance. We need to bring him into timber sports. And boy, did you back it up. Congratulations.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all the support out there. And Dave, I had to go for it. I'm in the finals here, so that's what I did, and it happened. So
yeah, there was some sparks that flew off your chain. You went in a little crooked, rubbed that chain against the bar. Some sparks flew off, but then there was that thick disc on the upcut, and then on the last cut, you started laughing. You knew you were disqualified.
Yeah, it just that's how things go.
Well, you have to be happy with yourself. Congratulations. We got one more thing to say to this crowd. Any more comments?
I appreciate all my family coming, and yeah, I had a great time here today.
Go get yourself a beer, buddy. Big round of applause.
Well, here's that run from Dakota Robar's first cut, got up a little wild and a little crooked, and that was that second cut. Like he said, he went full tilt. He tried to send it, and it just didn't pay out. He ran out of timber on that third cut, tried to go thin, tried to stay with it, and just did not have the material to work with. So close to that line. And you can see at that point, he's just smiling. What I love, though, is the attitude from Dakota Robarge. He could have been defeated. He could have been dejected. He's got the right attitude, though. And like I said, when he finished that cut, there is no shame in what that man has done here this weekend. What an exceptional debut appearance for Dakota Robarge.
So obviously, you see there the DQ cut over the line for Dakota Robarge, which only slightly decreases the fiery sensation of the hot seat for Trevor Beaudry, but he has gotten past one of his rivals here, but he's got 4 more to go, and they are tough ones there. So we'll let Trevor enjoy that while he may enjoy his magic week here. Hey, Trevor breaking through, and everything just sort of gone his way, and he has put in the work, as you mentioned. Also, Kevin, he is made good on his promise.
Third heat of the hot saw, your 2-time national champion from Diana, West Virginia, Jason Lentz.
Well, here we go. Jason Lentz has been in this position before, having to get it done with the hot saw at the end of the day. He's probably been on the giving end of the problems with that problem, the problem with that dilemma, and the benefits of it as well with his 2 national championships, 21 and 23.
Warm up your saw.
Tommy Jason didn't have the best run in the semifinals to get here, and I said, boy, that's going to be in his mind. But he finished that third cut, which was a cutout yesterday in the semifinals, and he was already laughing. He knew exactly what went wrong. He actually had a big piece of chalk in his pocket, and when he went for that last cut, the back handle of the saw hooked on that lump, and he couldn't lift the saw up. And he was just laughing about it, and that's the right attitude. You saw that with Dakota Robarge in that last run. You just got to be able to debrief, decompress, move on.
Athlete ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
That doesn't get much better than that. Whoa. I see a ton of timber left. I didn't see any thin discs. I think I see even a little bit of a smile starting to creep on the face of Jason Lentz. A 5.24 showing us his unofficial time.
Your cut is good.
Well, Trevor, you can't feel bad. Trevor, if you're going to leave the hot seat, you got to leave it under conditions like that. Jason Lentz, take a seat, buddy. I know you're frustrated. You got to go for it. The field has never been this tough. I know sometimes it's tough doing interviews, but you ended on one hell of a note. That was incredible. I can't wait for the official time, 5.03. Talk about that cut. You attacked it.
Yeah, that was a pretty good cut, Dave. Pretty disappointed in the day, though. The first 3 events were abysmal to my score, but yeah, that was a pretty good time. I wish I was in the 4s again. That would be the 3rd time and only the 4th person to do it.
Yeah, Jason, I don't know what to say. I mean, the saw, how many hot saws do you have? And how do you choose which saw you bring in a moment like this?
Well, I have two, that one and a Polaris 350 cc's, which is a bit bigger. It's running a 21.2 sprocket, where that one's only running an 18, and it is an absolute animal to hold on to and run. So when it comes to pressure situations, I go to what's reliable but also fast, and yeah, that saw right there, Jerry Gingras is one hell of a builder, and my dad, I appreciate the race chain. You know, without those combinations, you know, and we wouldn't be who we are up here with it. Yeah.
Quite a pit crew behind you, Jason. Congratulations. What a great finish to the day. And you just sit down and relax, buddy.
Thanks, Dave.
Fourth heat of the hot saw. Let's bring him out from Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, looking for his first national title, Matty Slingerland.
Matty Slingerland third in points overall heading into the hot saw here. I just saw Jason Lentz lay down a magnificent cut right there. His personal best for Matt Slingerland is sub 5. So we expect he's going to swing for the fences here, no doubt.
Yeah, there is no other option right now for Matty Slingerland. It's a tough situation to be in, but it is what it is.
Warm up your saw. 30 seconds.
His hot saw and his springboard at the same time have just come up to another level. That's the fuel line. There it goes. He's ready to rock.
Athlete ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Gotta be the cut of a life for Matty Slingerland, and he's bringing it! It looks clean, it looks fast! He's showing a 5:01 as his unofficial time! Got to go through all the officiating process, make sure they're complete discs, make sure the mark, the crayon mark is there all the way around. I don't see why it wouldn't be. Nobody seems upset. Wow. Look at the official time.
Oh my
a 4.81 for Matty Slingerland. If you're going to post a new personal best, you throw it down when it matters the most.
Unreal.
Your cut was good.
Wow.
Matty Slingerland will be on the hot seat now with a time of 4.81 seconds.
That's 0.2 from the world record, Dave. Only 0.2 from the world record.
Unbelievable cut.
Have a seat, buddy. I love the bow. I love the bow at the end. You're just so smooth. We had a big tournament. Arden Cogar Jr. puts on a tournament in West Virginia to get everybody warmed up. It was single elimination hot saw. You won that. You've just been riding this wave of confidence all year.
Yeah, I've been feeling real good in the hot saw. It's almost just, automatic at this point. That chain from Melvin Lentz was just unreal smooth, and I just kind of let it do its thing, so, I'm just a horse.
So we're going to talk mechanics real quick. There's a man named Cole Armbruster that makes the bars. You talk about the chain. The chain has to travel around that bar 200 miles an hour. So we've got, can you hold this for me, buddy? In 30 years, we've never talked about this. This is the hot saw bar. Now the chain comes off the saw at 200 miles an hour, but it hits this turn right here, and there's so much tension on that roller nose. Talk about the pieces of this saw, how it's welded together, the pieces of this bar, how it's welded together, and keeping it light, anti-vibration, everything you know.
Yeah, this is the same kind of bar I run. They're great bars. They're real light. It's made out of 3 pieces, so the inside's actually hollow, and that's what makes it lighter. But they harden the ends here. You can see how they're heat treated. They're hardened, so it's always perfectly true from one end to the other. They're machined out like that, so you know your chain's going to stay on. I never am worried about throwing a chain because of these bars. The internal roller nose is great. You never have to worry about it flopping around like some of the other guys' bars.
Well, because we a few weeks ago, Nate Hodges' bar actually blew up at the end, that the 3 pieces actually severed. It shows the power of these hot saws. So I had a great conversation with Cole, and he's just dismantled the whole science of making a bar, made his version, and it's just phenomenal technology. We really couldn't do it in this sport without these mechanics, just trying to invent something different, something faster.
Yeah, everything's getting better, everything's getting faster and more precise, and that's exactly what this bar is. So I'm happy to have one, I know that.
Cole, I know you're out here somewhere, buddy. Great job. Thanks for being the great mechanic these hot sawyers need. Great explanation. Thanks, Matty.
Well, Matty moves his way to the hot seat with this exceptional run. Sub 5 seconds. It doesn't get much better than this. Got a little thin at the bottom of that first cut. Still plenty of material to work with. Look at all the real estate he had left before that line. What a great run. We've been talking about it, Tommy, how Matty Slingerland has been so close so many times, and there's usually just 1 or 2 things, like a small glitch that holds him up, and too often it's been the hot saw. Not anymore.
Matt Slinger, that's beyond clutch. That's just almost to the miracle status right there, going sub 5 in a tough position like that. Now let's take a look at the overall points. Matt Slingerland came from 48 points, made that cut. This is triple points. 6 times 3 is 18. That pushed him up to 66. He's ahead of Matt Cogar right now, as he stands right now. But we still have 2 cuts left to go. And of course, it can all change. But what great job of putting himself in the conversation.
Coming to us from North Fork, California, looking for his first national title. One more big round of applause for Nate Hodges.
So here we go with Nate Hodges. Much the same, similar story to Matt Slingerland. Been so close, been on that podium so many times, the medal stand, but not able to break through with a win. It's going to be a tall order today. But he starts with more points than Matt Slingerland did. Starts with 7 more points, as a matter of fact, than Matt Slingerland did.
Warm up your saw.
Cough no go for Nate Hodges. There it is. Nate Hodges running one of the largest displacement hot saws out here. He's in the mid 400 cc range. It makes it a heavier saw. It makes it harder to control. And talking with Nate the other day, he says, it's just like a dirt bike. Sometimes bigger isn't better.
30 seconds. Athlete ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Hodges, like Slingerland, has to go, and he is. Oh, big, thick disc. Yeesh.
Wow.
Throws the chain. Holy cow, that was all sorts of chaos. I'm a little concerned that he bumped the bottom of that log. Very eager to see when the judge. I'm hoping the bottom of that log is clean.
It's the fastest he's ever cut. 4.79 is a new time to beat Hodges. We're gonna wait on the
Okay, looks like lots of positive affirmational head nods from our judging staff. I can't wait to see this one in replay.
Rich Hallett ready to deliver the news.
Your cut was good.
All right. Wow, this is unbelievable. Absolutely unreal.
Just absolutely ridiculous times being laid out. I mean, going all the way back to Jason Lentz. Jason Lentz threw out an exceptional time.
Oh, he did.
Matty Slingerland just
go anywhere,
had to
Hodges.
one-up
Have a
him.
seat, buddy. Well, we were just talking to Matt Slingerland. He said that's the fastest time I've ever laid down in the hot saw. 4.79. Has that happened to you before?
Dave, I've had a lot of close ones, man, but that's the first time it actually all came together. You know, that motor right there, I've put a lot of heart and soul into that. I was here in Milwaukee 5 years ago, and on the drive home, 3-day drive home to California, I thought, what can I do to get a faster saw? And I've been working on that thing ever since. Big shout out to Dennis Cahoon. He's got my back on the saws. You know, he's the mastermind behind this stuff. Greg Brewer does a great chain. I mean, there's so much heart and soul goes into that motor right there. There's parts and pieces from all over the country there, Dave. So it's nice to see that all come together and make a good cut here.
And a great recovery. I was there 3 weeks ago when your bar blew up. Then you got into the finals, nevertheless into the finals the next day, and your saw stalled into the wood. Tell us what you had to do to correct that coming to Milwaukee.
Yeah, Dave, I'm in a bit of a tricky situation. I live in the mountains of California, about 4,000 foot altitude. And anybody who knows a little bit about gasoline engines, the higher you go in altitude, there's real fine tuning with the fuel mixture and stuff. So what happened, Dave, I was out there in New York a couple weeks ago, like you said, or a month ago or so at Cherry Valley, and the motor leaned out on me. It was kind of like my mistake. I should have known better, but I learned from it. I gave her more fuel, and it seems to be working. She's got a lot of power. I mean, it just broke that chain in half right there. That just goes to show you don't see too many chains just breaking. Just the sheer power. Nothing even went wrong. There's just that much horsepower there.
So it actually broke the chain, then the broken chain split the bar down the middle, correct?
Well, I'm actually talking about right now it broke the chain, but
did.
Yeah, but she's a monster. It's like drag racing. You know what I mean? You're pushing everything to the limit here with these hot saws, and chains break, bars break, and hearts break.
Congratulations. Enjoy the moment. I made the mistake of saying, give them an applause one more time. You may have another applause coming. You're sitting in line to win your first national title. One more competitor remaining. Enjoy the moment. Nate Hodges taking the lead on the hot seat.
Well, here's that run from Nate Hodges as he's up into the wood. Hovers a little bit, slams it through. There is no replacement for displacement, says Nate Hodges, down through the bottom here on this last cut. And as he said, much like a top fuel dragster, you can blow up as you cross the finish line. That's fine. Watch that chain just eject off the end of that bar as he comes out through the bottom of the log.
Once again, that official time, unbelievable. He gets below Matt Slingerland with a 4.79 official time. But right now, that's 18 points. And as it stands right now, that 18 points is going to add to his total overall standings, and that puts him 10 points ahead of Matt Slingerland and Matt Koger. All right. So the only man with a chance left to catch Nate Hodges is Matt Koger, because Matt Slingerland has already cut, and Matt Koger will have to have 10 points to tie 11 points in order to win this one. That's the long and the short of it right now. One cut. Well, actually, 3 cuts. 1 heat is going to get it done. He needs to cut the 503. He needs to bump Jason Lentz. He needs to collect 12 points.
Final heat of the weekend here in Milwaukee, and it's been a long one. We crowned the women's national title. Aaron Lavoie, we are moments away from crowning the national title for the men's division. He is our final athlete. He has 7 national titles. He's looking for 8. Here's the opportunity, and here is Matthew Koger.
Well, Matt Koger's going to have a sensational cut.
Yeah, that 5-second mark has always just kind of been that elusive thing. Like, man, cut a 5, cut a 5, cut a 5. Now it's the only way in.
Yeah.
Hodges has done everything he can do. I mean, he threw the gauntlet down. He is sitting in the hot seat watching.
Warm up your saw.
I don't know who I'd rather be in this moment. Hodges watching, just totally out of control, or Matt Koger doing everything he can to control a virtually uncontrollable situation.
7 times the U.S. champ earlier this year. He won the U.S. trophy title. That was important to him as well. Put himself back on top in that category. Can put himself back on top in the individual performance with this national championship here if he can cut it.
30 seconds.
Slightly. 1/10 over 5 seconds.
Or, and I'm just throwing this out there, throw it on like a 4.75.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, based on everything we've had so far today, why not?
That's the natural progression.
Let's just order one up.
Athlete ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Up and into the wood, pretty quick through the wood. Time's elapsing quickly. Oh. He is in the low 5s, mid 5s. I don't think he's got it.
Tough to know by Matt Koger's facial expression was that how he had a lead. He had a decent lead going in again with a triple point.
It just didn't seem as fast through the wood as it needed to be. Hodges is nodding over there. I think he's got a little nod of confidence.
5:24 was the unofficial time, which would not be enough. Got to wait for the official.
The cut was good.
Yeah, 5.24, that's not going to cut it by anything we've seen.
Mid 5 seconds.
All right, officially, Matt Koger's time, 5.24 seconds, meaning your new national champion, Nate Hodges!
There you go.
It is believable, buddy. This may be one of the biggest interviews of my life, buddy. It didn't take long for the guys in the production truck. I've got them in my right ear. They're going crazy. It didn't take long for them to be screaming, Hodges, Hodges, Hodges is your winner. Hodges, buddy, you got Jason Lentz, Matt Koger, 9 national titles between the two of them. You're just looking for one. You laid down a 4.79. It couldn't happen at a better moment. You said unbelievable. I have to disagree. It's believable. You worked for it.
Yeah, Dave, this is incredible. Gosh, I don't even know what to say. This is all the hard work. I mean, anybody who knows, the family close to me, how much work I've put into this. And Hey, it all came together. There's so many, there's so much credit due. I can't even begin to mention everybody. Rob Spry with the axes. He has my back. Like I said, Dennis Cahoon with the hot sauce. Greg Brewer with the chains. I mean, and that's just the beginning of the list. That's just the tip of the iceberg. So this is, it's like I'm living in a fantasy right now.
And you fought through some horrible injuries. You've taken when you first began, you took an axe to your leg. Before you introduced into timber sports, you took an axe to your forearm. You fought it off, maintained the confidence, and I believe you could have even gone better. A little off in the springboard, but you did the job. You did the best you can. And that happens in timber sports. You're not always on, are you?
No, I mean, and that's why I got to hand it off to Matt Koger. I mean, he's blowing everybody out of the water in those first 3 events, and it's just incredible. And with this point system, things get crazy, and it comes down to the hot saw. And that's why, like I said, 5 years ago, I put my heart and soul into building that saw, and hey, it's paid off. So, yeah.
I said one more round of applause for Nate Hodges, and I thought to myself, we're going to need one more. Big round of applause. Awards ceremony moments away. We're going to see him one more time.
What an incredible story. I mean, the ending of this one here. Matt Slingerland lays down a miraculous 4.81. And to get ahead of him, Nate Hodges ups and lays down a 4.79. 2 of the fastest times we have ever seen, ever, in the STIHL Timber Sports Series. And that does it for Nate Hodges. A single-point victory over Matt Koger. Matt Slingerland actually is going to wind up in 3rd place with 63 points, but just an unbelievable ending, Kevin.
Yeah, the entire weekend has been a collection of unbelievable endings, and this was the most unbelievablest of all the endings. Those times are just absolutely stunning, and for these guys to just consistently post those times, keep knocking each other down, it's just where this hot saw has gone in this discipline, that these motors are staying together, the power they are turning, and that these athletes are managing it so well. Just hats off to this entire field.
Nate Hodges with a silver medal in 2019 and 2022. Both of those years, he was the bridesmaid. Last year in 2023, he won the bronze medal. So close, so many times. And finally punching through this time around. It's incredible. This entrepreneur from Northern California has become a home builder, builds homes from the ground up, and then started his own franchise of axe throwing facilities there. Yosemite Axe Throwing has been very, very successful in that part of the country. So let's take it down to Dave Jewett, and we will have the medal ceremony.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've been fighting for 2 days, semifinal round into the final round, and we finally determined our top 3. Thanks to STIHL, thanks to Ace Hardware, John Deere, Duluth Trading for making all this happen, and thank you to our athletes. As soon as I get the word, we're going to bring them out. We got our 3rd place athlete is yeah, they have the production trucks and that's what it is. 3rd place from Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. Give it up for Matt Slingerland.
Medalist. Let's hear it for Matt Koger! And your first time United States National Champion from North Fork, California, let's hear it for Nate Hodges! hear it for him, everybody! All right, athletes, come on out here! All right, let's bring out the rest of the field.
Here they come, Dave. What a bunch of warriors.
Spears in hand, celebrating our new national champion. All right, German fest. As they say in Germany, Prost! And that'll do it for us here on the BMO Pavilion stage. Thank you guys so much for coming out. Prost, and have a safe drive home. Congratulations, Nate Hodges.
Well, to say it was a situation that called for heroics was an understatement. Matt Koger had won all but one of the 5 previous disciplines. It had to have something unbelievable come down in the hot saw, and we saw Matt Slingerland get up there and do something unbelievable, a sub-5 cut. No way someone could come up, jump up, and the closest competitor to Matt Koger could jump up and get ahead of, because that's what he had to do. He had to get ahead.
Yeah, we started subbing our sub-5 cuts. Just an unbelievable finish. And as you mentioned, Tommy, this was a call for heroic action, and we had a stage full of heroes. What an amazing depth we now have in this country with these athletes. Just super impressed across the board, and to see a new national champion just adds that cherry on top of the entire thing. Nate Hodges throws himself at everything, whether it's his business ventures, whether it's timber sports, whatever it may be, becoming a pilot, for crying out loud.
That's right, flies himself around all his
himself
business.
at every venture, and this is the reward for him here today. And I got to be honest, it's not going to be his last. This is his first national championship, far from his last.
He came to this one somewhat late in life. He said, I'm going to overachieve at this. He'd been around the sport, but not heavily invested in it. He went all in, and a few short years later, here he stands atop that podium stand right there. It's a new boss. Meet him right there. And as you say, he's not going to be the last time. He's going to be the old boss again who comes back and wins it again. Nate Hodges of North Fork, California. Unbelievable job here. Heroics at the end to take down the 7-time champ Matt Koger. That in itself an incredible job. Thanks for being with us here in Milwaukee for the 2024 STIHL Timbersports U.S. Men's Championship.